Chapter 40. Tai Long walked in front of Tang Zheng and kicked him. Tang Zheng did not move at all, as if he was dead. Immediately, everyone's expression changed. Those who were still hoping for a fluke fell into despair. Tang Zheng was completely defeated. Boss Fan laughed unscrupulously. He looked at Lin Hu's ashen face with ridicule. The audience booed. Tai Long proudly opened his mouth and looked at Huang Xiang. Huang Xiang nodded slightly. Tai Long understood. He roared and lifted Tang Zheng up. His bones and tendons were all ready. He was determined to break Tang Zheng's bones and tendons and turn him into a cripple. Suddenly, Tang Zheng's tightly closed eyes opened and a cold light flashed within them. Tai Long's heart trembled as he cried out, "Not good." However, it was already too late. Tang Zheng's two palms struck out, one after the other, hitting his dantian. Bang! Two muffled sounds rang out as if something had cracked. Tai Long let out a deafening scream as his eyes widened in disbelief as he stared at Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng was like an agile monkey. He jumped up and stepped on Tai Long's chest. He retreated a meter away. Bang! A loud sound rang out. Tai Long staggered and fell on the stage. He struggled for a bit but did not stand up. Bang! Hiss! Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This series of events was too unexpected. Tai Long clearly had victory in his hands. He was invincible. How could he lose? Huang Xiang stood up. His smile froze on his face. His eyes kept changing as he stared at Tang Zheng. Boss Fan's mouth was wide open as if he had swallowed a fly. Only Lin Hu was happy. He almost cheered. He said in his heart, "Little brother, you are really good." Tang Zheng let out a long breath as he felt like he was about to collapse. Just now, it was truly a close call and he almost lost his life. Tai Long's attack had indeed injured him, so much so that it could be considered as seriously injuring him. Fortunately, his true qi was vigorous, and he was able to temporarily suppress the injury. He was very clear that if he continued to counterattack, he would still not be Tai Long's opponent, so he took advantage of the situation and pretended to be seriously injured, and then took advantage of Tai Long's unpreparedness to counterattack, and really hit him. The dantian was Tai Long's Achilles heel. Once the dantian was damaged, Tai Long's battle prowess would collapse. How do you know my Achilles heel?" Iron Dragon raised his neck and asked in disbelief. Tang Zheng smiled coldly and did not answer. The audience's cheers were like a tidal wave. The referee looked in Huang Xiang's direction with a troubled expression. In the end, he had no choice but to announce that Tang Zheng was the winner. Lin Hu hurriedly rushed into the ring to support Tang Zheng and asked, "How are you?" Tang Zheng forced a smile and said, "I'm fine. I want to go back." "All right, we'll head back right away." Huang Xiang and Boss Fan walked over. Huang Xiang said with uncertainty, "Little brother is really brave. You've won against my most powerful fighter. How about we go and celebrate?" "Young Master Huang, he's tired. We'll head back first," Lin Hu said. Huang Xiang coldly swept his eyes over Lin Hu and said, "I'm not asking you. I'm asking him." Lin Hu's heartstrings trembled. Huang Xiang was enraged. This battle definitely made him feel like he had lost all face, so he dropped all pretense. "Young Master Huang, can we go now?" Tang Zheng also felt the other's ill intentions, but he did not fear him in the slightest. He had already gradually grasped the temperament of these people. The more cowardly you were, the more rude and unreasonable they would be. And if you pretended to be fearless, the other's momentum would be weakened by 3 points. Huang Xiang's face changed as he meaningfully said, "All right, let's go." Tang Zheng and Lin Hu left. Huang Xiang's face immediately became gloomy. This time he did not brazenly make a move. After all, he still had some restraining fear. Tang Zheng's performance was out of Huang Xiang's expectations. Even the 5th grade refining body Tai Long was not Tang Zheng's opponent. Huang Xiang also did not have absolute confidence in keeping the other. Young Master Huang, letting them go like this is the same as letting a tiger return to the mountain. Boss Fan insidiously fanned the flames. He also wants to become a tiger. He doesn't even know whose mountain ordinary balance is. Huang Xiang flicked his sleeves and left. His subordinates quickly supported Tai Long inside the villa. Tai Long trembled as he knelt in front of Huang Xiang. He trembled as he said, "Young Master Huang, this subordinate is useless. You really are useless. Victory was clearly in your grasp, but in the end you lost." Huang Xiang said resentfully. Tai Long's defeat meant that his plan had failed. It would be even harder to pry into Tang Zheng's secret. This subordinate was negligent. Tai Long lowered his head. "Hang, isn't your golden bell cover indestructible? How did you lose?" Huang Xiang was very clear on the power of Tai Long's golden bell cover. Even he would have to spend a lot of effort to break through Tai Long's defense. Tai Long recalled the scene and said, "He specifically attacked my Dantian's gate of life. I suspect that he already knew about my gate of life." N. Huang Xiang's eyebrows tightened. "Didn't you say that this was your secret and that outsiders would not know about it?" "Maybe, he has an expert behind him." Tai Long said his own guess. "Expert?" Huang Xiang's expression changed. "Hang, no matter what expert is behind him, in ordinary balance, even if he is a dragon, he will still have to coil up for me. Even if he is a tiger, he will still have to lie down for me. Young Master Huang, how are you going to deal with him?" Huang Xiang was determined to obtain Tang Zheng's secret. He clenched his teeth and said, "Everyone will have a weak spot. Since I already know his identity, dealing with him will not be difficult." Tai Long's heart turned cold. He knew that being targeted by Huang Xiang was the same as being targeted by a poisonous snake. Tang Zheng, this brat, was going to be out of luck. Tang Zheng did not know of Huang Xiang's sinister intentions. He was currently resting in the carriage with his eyes closed. After a long time, he finally calmed down and opened his eyes. Lin, who had been quietly waiting on the side. Seeing the situation, he quickly said, "Little brother, I'm afraid that you will be in trouble for rejecting young Master Huang." Tang Zheng remained calm and collected as he said, "Different situations call for different actions. If he wants to find trouble with me, then I can't do anything about it." Tian Chanzi had already warned him that Huang Xiang had ulterior motives. However, in order to quickly break through to the third-grade refining qi, he had no choice but to participate in the fight. However, the gains from this fight were worth it. Even though he was injured, he gained a lot of new insights. All of this was caused by me. If it weren't for you standing up for me, then you wouldn't have provoked young Master Huang." Lin Hu said with a sigh. "Brother Hu, this has nothing to do with you. Speaking of which, I still have to thank you for bringing me into the boxing world." "Why?" Tang Zheng smiled mysteriously. He did not explain. If it weren't for Lin Hu, then he would not have been able to earn enough money to pay for his grandfather's medical expenses. Furthermore, he would not have been able to increase his strength by leaps and bounds. "I'll think of another way. At worst, we can just return the money we won to young Master Huang and eliminate this enmity." Lin Hu was very clear about Huang Xiang's ability. That was why he came up with this idea. "There is no need to do this," Tang Zheng advised. He won the money with his own ability, so why should he return it? If Huang Xiang was really unreasonable, then he would not be easy to bully. Looking at the determined face of Tang Zheng, Lin Hu secretly sighed. He thought to himself that he was still too young and full of vigor. He completely did not know how powerful Huang Xiang was. "It seems that I will have to deal with this matter in secret." Tang Zheng returned to the hospital. After taking care of his grandfather, he began to treat his injuries. His internal organs were shaken. Even though it was not a serious injury, if he did not treat his injuries in time, there would be repercussions. True qi began to circulate, and within his meridians, there was a rumbling sound. The true qi within his 9 meridians began to boil. After half a day, the true qi calmed down. His injuries were completely healed, and his true qi increased by a bit. Little brat, you really did gain a lot from this fight. Your true qi has already reached 2.8 inches. You only need 2 more points before you succeed. Tian Chanzi said encouragingly. At that time, he did not think that Tang Zheng would progress so quickly. Tang Zheng also could not hide his excitement. He was a bit closer to success. However, you only have 3 days left. The last 2 points of true qi are not that easy to cultivate. Tian Chanzi once again poured cold water on his hopes. Tang Zheng knew that Tian Chanzi was not exaggerating. He could not go and practice boxing again. Huang Xiang did not have any more powerful fighters. Unless he obtained the red drill snake's inner core like last time, the last 2 points of true qi would be an insurmountable gap. When the car reaches the mountain, there will be a way. There will definitely be a way. Tang Zheng clenched his teeth. I have already told you the way. You just need to eat that girl Fang Shishir. Naturally, you will be able to break through easily. Tian Chanzi said with an evil smile. Tang Zheng was upset and fell into a deep sleep. In a daze, he found that he and Fang Shishir were in the same room. The two of them were tightly hugging each other, as if they could not wait to rub into each other's body. The two of them began to pull at each other's clothes. After a while, Tang Zheng stripped her naked. That beautiful body made his heart beat faster. After a while, the two of them began to roll on the bed. It was incomparably charming. Early in the morning, Tang Zheng slowly opened his eyes. He felt that his crotch was sticky. He could not help but recall the charming scene from last night. It turned out that it was a dream. He actually had a wet dream. The scene in the dream was real and beautiful. It made him reminisce endlessly. However, he was also a little embarrassed. He quickly went to the bathroom to change his clothes, then grabbed his school bag and flew to school. The moment he saw Fang Shishir, he could not help but blush. This was all because of Tian Chanzi's nonsense. That was why he had a wet dream. Hey, you're actually blushing. What's wrong with you? Fang Shishir intimately held onto his arm. She stared at him with her big black eyes and asked curiously. It's nothing. Tang Zheng evasively said. Liar, there must be something wrong. Did you do something wrong to me? Fang Shishir mischievously asked. Absolutely not. Tang Zheng quickly denied. Humph, if you dare to do something wrong to me, I will definitely not let you go. Fang Shishir waved her pink fist like a little girl. Little handsome brother, good morning. Feng Xinyang energetically got out of the car and greeted Tang Zheng from afar. Aunt Feng, good morning. Tang Zheng politely greeted. Hee, why are you being so polite with me? Little handsome brother, do you think our family's ding-dang is beautiful today? Feng Xinyang glanced at Fang Shishir and deliberately asked. Tang Zheng was greatly embarrassed. He coughed again and again, not knowing how to answer. Oh, did you catch a cold? Ding-dang, in the future you have to take care of little handsome brother. How can you be so careless? Feng Xinyang rebuked. Yi Dingdang's face turned red. She shouted, Feng Xinyang, I've already arrived at school. You should quickly go back. Hee, understood. I won't disturb you too. Feng Xinyang waved her hand and left. Chapter 41. With regards to Feng Xinyang's boldness, Tang Zheng had already experienced it and could only bitterly smile. But in the next second, he couldn't smile anymore and sucked in a breath of cold air. Fang Shishir fiercely pinched the flesh on his waist and stared hatefully at him, waiting for his explanation. Tang Zheng hurriedly whispered, There's really nothing going on between me and her, don't listen to her nonsense. Fang Shishir snorted and faintly said, She's so beautiful, do you dare say you don't have any ulterior motives? There really isn't. Tang Zheng decisively said. At this time, a man definitely couldn't hesitate. Yi Dingdang clearly heard the two's conversation and pretended not to hear it as she walked towards the classroom. Tang Jing promised Yi Tianlei that he would protect Yi Dingdang's safety and pulled Fang Shishir and Yi Dingdang together towards the classroom. This scene once again attracted the attention of countless people, causing many to beat their feet and stomp their chests, sighing at the unfairness of the heavens. Just what ability did Tang Jing have to be able to accompany the two school beauties by their side, and even be safe and sound? Tang Jing sat in his seat absent-mindedly. Even Yi Dingdang noticed that he was distracted and looked at him with surprise. "What's wrong with you?" Tang Jing shook his head and said nothing. In reality, he was at his wit's end and had already done everything he could. However, he was still one step away from saving his grandfather. Do I really have to push Shishir down? Tang Jing was extremely conflicted. Tang Jing was also a young and radiant youth. Of course he would have his own needs. However, this kind of thing should happen naturally and not for a specific purpose. If he did that, he would feel that he was too despicable. Soft-hearted. Tian Chanzi said with disdain. Tang Jing turned a deaf ear and was at his wit's end. If you need help, just say it. Don't be shy. Yi Dingdang couldn't help but get straight to the point. Hi hey, little brat, if you eat that girl Yi Dingdang, you can also reach the 3rd grade refining chi. Tian Chanzi instigated. Shut up. Tang Jing was annoyed and said angrily. Why did this Tian Chanzi keep coming up with bad ideas? You don't know how to appreciate my kindness. I was just trying to help you. Tian Chanzi defended himself, feeling wronged. Ring ring ring. Suddenly, a cell phone rang. It was particularly ear-piercing in the quiet classroom. Everyone looked at Tang Jing at the same time. Tang Jing embarrassedly took out his phone and was about to hang up when he found that it was a call from the hospital. Ignoring the murderous eyes of the teacher on the podium, he quickly pressed the answer button. After listening for a while, his face suddenly changed and he stood up abruptly, giving the teacher a big fright. Tang Jing, what are you doing? Tang Jing walked out of the classroom in large strides and said, Teacher, I have an urgent matter. I'm asking for a day off. Finished speaking, without waiting for the teacher to respond, he rushed out of the classroom like the wind, leaving everyone dumbstruck. What happened? Why are you so nervous? Yi Dingdang was curious as she watched Tang Jing's back disappear at the door. Didn't he promise to protect me? Running away like this is too unkind. I want to see what he's going to do. She also stood up and said goodbye to the teacher before rushing out of the classroom. The others were petrified. Why did Yi Dingdang also chase after him? Feng Yong thought, boss must have encountered an urgent matter. At this time, if I, as a little brother, don't ask about it, wouldn't that be too disloyal? Teacher, I'll go and see what happened. After all, he was the class monitor. He respectfully greeted the teacher and then chased after him. Tang Jing had just arrived at the school gate when he heard Yi Dingdang calling him from behind. He stopped and asked, What are you doing here? Then why did you run out? Yi Dingdang said in a bad mood. I have an urgent matter. If there's anything, we'll talk about it later. Tang Jing stopped a taxi and got in. Unexpectedly, Yi Dingdang also got in and sat beside him and said, Didn't you promise to protect me? How can you leave your post without permission? Whatever you do, I'll follow you. Tang Jing was helpless when Feng Yong also caught up and shouted, Boss, you can't leave me behind. What are you doing here again? Boss is in such a hurry. There must be something urgent. Of course I'm here to help. Feng Yong said dutifully. Tang Jing was in a hurry and did not have the energy to talk to them. Thus, he directly ordered the driver to drive straight to the hospital. Yi Dingdang and Feng Yong already knew the truth. It turned out that Tang Jing's grandfather was missing in the hospital. No wonder he was so anxious. Tang Jing, don't worry. Maybe the old man temporarily left the ward and is wandering outside. Yi Dingdang comforted. Tang Jing knew his grandfather's habits. He did not like to wander around. Moreover, he had a premonition that something must have happened. His grandfather was a part of his life. If something happened to him, he could not imagine what kind of situation it would be. The three of them got out of the car and went straight to the ward. The nurse was anxiously waiting in front of the ward. "Did you find my grandfather?" Tang Jing quickly asked. The nurse said, "I didn't find him. I just asked around. Someone took the patient away." "Who was it?" "I don't know. I heard that it was two young people. Moreover, they didn't look good." Tang Zhang's head dropped. His premonition came true. "Do you know where they went?" The nurse shook her head. Tang Zhang was incomparably anxious. His grandfather did not have any relatives in ordinary Balan City. It was impossible for someone to take him away. This meant that this group of people did not come with good intentions. He immediately thought of Qiao Fei. Back then, he found someone to smash his home. Perhaps this was his scheme again. "Qiao Fei, I promised my grandfather that I would not bother with you. This time, if you are really behind this, then I will definitely not let you go." Tang Jing gnashed his teeth. His face was extremely gloomy. This was the first time Yi Dingdang saw him like this. She could not help but be shocked. She felt as if she had fallen into an ice cave. Tang Jing immediately dialed Xiao Fei's number. He directly asked, "Xiao Fei, were you the one who took my grandfather away?" "Tang Jing, are you crazy? Who took your grandfather?" Xiao Fei replied. "If you don't want people to know, then don't do it. Xiao Fei, if you dare to touch my grandfather, then I will definitely not let you go." "Tang Jing, don't slander me." Xiao Fei continued to deny and directly hung up the phone. Tang Jing held the phone with uncertainty. Xiao Fei's denial did not dispel his suspicions. Xiao Fei was incomparably cunning. Of course he would not admit it. "Boss, I will immediately send someone to find grandfather," Feng Yong said. "Right, I will also have my dad send someone to find him," Yi Dingdang said. The two were preparing to make a call when Tang Zhang's phone rang. It was an unknown number. "Hey, little brother. Do you have time to come over and sit with me?" Huang Xiang's voice sounded. Tang Zhang immediately recognized the other party. His eyebrows instantly twisted as he said, "Young Master Huang, I don't have time." "Hee, I believe you will have time. Immediately come to the south of the city." Huang Xiang hung up the phone. Tang Zhang began to ponder. What did Huang Xiang's last sentence mean? Could it be that his grandfather was taken away by him? Tang Zhang immediately thought of Huang Xiang's reaction after yesterday's fight. His heart moved. Huang Xiang was very suspicious. "Who is young Master Huang?" Yi Dingdang curiously asked. "Huang Xiang." "Huang Xiang?" Yi Dingdang was flabbergasted. Her eyes widened. "How do you know him?" "It's a long story. I want to go to the south of the city. You guys go back to school first." Tang Jing decided to go meet Huang Xiang. "Boss, I will go with you." Feng Yong volunteered. "No, I will go by myself," Tang Jing said without hesitation. He did not know what dangers there would be. Feng Yong did not know martial arts, so how could he let him take the risk? "Yi Dingdang, you better go home first." Since he could not protect Yi Dingdang's safety, he advised her to go home. Yi Dingdang did not say a word. Looking at Tang Zhang's back disappear at the end of the corridor, Feng Yong anxiously stamped his foot and said, "Yi Dingdang, why don't you persuade boss? There is strength in numbers. How can he go by himself?" Yi Dingdang thoughtfully said, "Feng Yong, you go back to school first." Finished speaking, she quickly left. Feng Yong was dumbstruck. He said, "Fuck, how can you guys be like this? You want me to go back to school alone? Wouldn't that be too disloyal of me? I also want to go." Fujiao landscape was a villa area in the south of the city. There was a small bridge over flowing water. The scenery was green and incomparably beautiful. Tang Jing arrived at the villa entrance and saw a familiar face. Tai Long, young Master Huang has been waiting for you for a long time. Tai Long coldly said. What did he call me here for? Tang Jing asked. When you see young Master Huang, you will naturally know. Tai Long said. Tang Jing was helpless. He could only gather 120% of his attention. Not long after, he was brought into a villa. Little brat, there are many people lying in ambush in this villa. Tian Chanzi suddenly said. Tang Jing's heart tightened. Huang Xiang really did not have any good intentions. Little brother, you finally came. Seeing Tang Jing walk in, Huang Xiang sat on the sofa and laughed. Tang Jing did not bat an eyelid. No matter how he looked at it, he felt that Huang Xiang's smile was very fake. With a straight face he asked, Young Master Huang, what did you call me here for? Huang Xiang smiled and said, During this time, I have seen your strength. I still have not had a good talk with you. I still have things to do. I don't have time to talk with you. Tang Jing said. Impudent. You dare to talk to young Master Huang like this? Tai Long coldly shouted. Tang Jing glanced at Tai Long and said, I don't need you to teach me how to speak. Young man, you really have a big temper. You should calm down. Huang Xiang lightly said, Moreover, after you talk with me, you will certainly have news about the person you are looking for. Tang Jing's pupil shrunk. He stood up and stared at Huang Xiang and said, My grandfather was taken away by your people. Huang Xiang gave an unfathomable smile as he indicated for Tang Jing to sit down and said, I said before that young people shouldn't be so angry. Let's sit down and talk about our matters first. The rest will naturally come to light. If you have something to say, then come at me. Don't touch my grandfather. Tang Jing was certain that his grandfather was in Huang Xiang's hands. He's always looking at your performance. Huang Xiang said gloomily. What do you want? Tang Jing asked. I have several questions that I want to discuss with you. As long as you tell me the truth, I can guarantee that I will not touch a single hair on his head. Huang Xiang said. Chapter 42. Huang Xiang stared at Tang Jing and asked, Where did your martial arts come from? This was a big problem that troubled Huang Xiang. He had observed Tang Jing's matches but he could not even figure out Tang Jing's moves, which made him disappointed. That is none of your business. Huang Xiang's eyebrows twisted as he said, If you don't want to cooperate then there is no need to talk. Tang Jing's heart tightened as he made up a story. Master did not say, so I do not know. Then who is your master? He did not say. Huang Xiang coldly snorted in dissatisfaction. I don't know anything. Tang Jing's martial arts did not come out of thin air. Moreover, to have such martial arts in just a few months was truly a miracle, so Huang Xiang would not give up so easily. He continued to ask, Then where can I find him? His home is everywhere, so I do not know where to find him. Huang Xiang was a bit disappointed but also relieved. Since the other side was not in the ordinary balance, then his matter would be much easier to handle. This time he must force out Tang Jing's martial arts. I am a very generous person, so I hope that we can take out our martial arts and then compare notes with each other to increase each other's cultivation. What do you think? Huang Xiang said in a dignified manner. Despicable. Tang Jing secretly cursed as he saw through the other's sinister intentions. So Huang Xiang had his eyes on his martial arts. I am sorry, but martial arts cannot be passed on. Tang Jing refused. Huang Xiang's face sank as he said, Being so stingy is meaningless. I will also give my martial arts to you to study. No need. Tang Jing refused. Tang Jing, don't be so shameless. Tai Long murderously shouted. Huang Xiang looked at him with a smile that was not a smile. Tang Jing coldly said, You want to use my grandfather to coerce me into handing over my martial arts? Huang Xiang chuckled and said, Coercing sounds so unpleasant. We are exchanging pointers and this is a normal exchange between martial artists. Brat, don't give him the ancient clear heaven scroll. Tian Chanzi anxiously stopped him. I know. I'm not that stupid. The ancient clear heaven scroll was fought over by Tian Chanzi and Yin Mo, these two experts, with their lives on the line. How could they let Huang Xiang have it so easily? If I hand over the cultivation technique, will you release my grandfather? Tang Zheng asked. Of course, I'm a man of my word. Huang Xiang solemnly vowed, but Tang Zheng discovered that his eyes were flickering. He was clearly lying. Huang Xiang was indeed lying. As long as he obtained the cultivation technique, he would not hesitate to kill Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng's strength had increased so quickly, he did not wish to leave behind a potential enemy for himself in the future. Alright, I'll give you the cultivation technique. Tang Zheng readily agreed, but silently said to Tian Chanzi, quickly give me a cultivation technique and trick Huang Xiang. Tang Zheng did not dare to act rashly because his grandfather was in the enemy's hands. He decided to use a fake cultivation technique to trick Huang Xiang. Tian Chanzi had many cultivation techniques, among which there was no lack of powerful ones. He immediately understood Tang Zheng's intentions and laughed evilly. Don't worry, I'll prepare a cultivation technique for him. I guarantee that after he practices it, he will benefit greatly and feel like he's in heaven. Haha. Tang Zheng knew that the words benefit greatly were sarcastic. Tian Chanzi deliberately tampered with the cultivation technique's key points, causing Huang Xiang to have the opposite effect. Right now I'm not Huang Xiang's opponent. I must first break through to the 3rd grade of qi refining and save my grandfather. Then I'll settle this debt with Huang Xiang. Tang Zheng had lived at the bottom of society for many years, so he understood that sometimes he had to endure. He also understood that a gentleman's revenge was not too late. If he knew that he was no match for Huang Xiang and still tried to be a hero, then he could only be tired of living. Alright, then write it down. Huang Xiang had already prepared a pen and paper and handed it to Tang Zheng, letting him write down the cultivation technique. Huang Xiang stared at it without blinking. He did not believe that Tang Zheng could trick him. After all, he had been practicing martial arts for more than 10 years, so his ability to discern between good and bad was not bad. Gradually, Huang Xiang's eyes lit up, and his joy was overflowing. He exclaimed in his heart, it really is unfathomable. With this cultivation technique, my strength will definitely increase greatly. The Huang clan will grow into a true martial arts family in my hands. The Huang clan could be considered a large clan in ordinary Balan City, but outside it was not good. Huang Xiang's ambition was not small. He had always wanted to revitalize the Huang clan and turn it into a true martial arts family. This cultivation technique is definitely real. Hey, this move is really useful. Using that old man to coerce him is more effective than directly using force to coerce him. Huang Xiang was immensely proud of himself. Tang Zheng put down the pen and said, I have finished writing. Now you can release my grandfather. Huang Xiang immediately put away the cultivation technique. Tai Long stretched out his long neck wanting to take a look, but Huang Xiang did not give him the opportunity. You are very obedient, but you are too stupid. Huang Xiang laughed. What do you mean? You no longer have any value. What do you mean? You want to kill me? Tang Zheng's gaze turned cold. The other side went back on his words, truly despicable. Huang Xiang gave an evil grin and signaled to Tai Long. Tai Long leapt out with a soap sound and fiercely attacked Huang Xiang. Huang Xiang, you are despicable and shameless. Despicable and shameless? In this world, only the one who survives is the victor. So what if I am despicable and shameless? Huang Xiang was not ashamed and instead said proudly. Tang Zheng did not have time to say anything because Tai Long's storm-like attacks had already arrived in front of him. Tang Zheng quickly used the heaven-gathering hand to resist. Moreover, every move was aimed at Tai Long's dantian. Tai Long had eaten Tang Zheng's attack yesterday and his injuries had not healed yet. Seeing Tang Zheng's every move was aimed at his life gate, how could he not know that Tang Zheng already knew the secret of his life gate? He was really angry and anxious. He was in a difficult situation as he retreated again and again. Huang Xiang's eyes slightly narrowed. Yesterday when Tai Long was facing Tang Zheng, he was in an overwhelming victory, but today he was not a match for him. In addition to Tai Long's injuries, another important reason was that Tang Zheng's strength had increased. This could be seen from Tang Zheng's swift and fierce moves. In just one night he had such progress. This set of martial arts is simply too mysterious. After I practice it, I will definitely progress faster than him. Huang Xiang was itching to immediately practice this set of martial arts. Tang Zheng flew into a rage and used all of his skills to force Tai Long to retreat step by step. Seeing that he was in a corner and had no way to retreat, Tang Zheng attacked Tai Long's dantian. Kacha! With a crisp sound, Tai Long's dantian was shattered. Tai Long was like a dead fish as he softly fell down. His eyes almost popped out and blood gushed out from the corner of his mouth. You! Iron Dragon pointed a trembling finger at Tang Zheng, but was unable to say a single word. Tai Long's dantian was once again injured, but this time it was not as easy as the first time. This time his dantian was directly shattered, destroying all of his martial arts. For the rest of his life, he would not be able to practice martial arts. Moreover, he would be plagued with illness, making him worse than an ordinary person. The smile on Huang Xiang's face froze. He did not expect that Tang Zheng would be so powerful after going all out. His own #1 general would fall like this. He was furious and loudly roared, "Kill him, kill him!" Hua! More than 10 big men rushed out from all directions, staring at Tang Zheng like a tiger eyeing its prey. Huang Xiang's hand had a gun, and the black muzzle was aimed at Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng's whole body tensed up. Although his martial arts were not bad, facing a gun, he was certainly not the opponent's opponent. Humph, you want to continue to fight? Huang Xiang's face once again showed a proud smile. Huang Xiang, let go of my grandfather. I will let you do whatever you want with me. Tang Zheng helplessly said. Huh, you are not my opponent. What qualifications do you have to negotiate with me? Since you want to see your grandfather so much, then you can go accompany him in the underworld. What did you do to my grandfather? Tang Zheng's eyes widened as his eyes gradually turned red. Of course I sent him to see King Yama. Huang Xiang, I will kill you. Tang Zheng's aura erupted like a tiger. With a sharp roar, he pounced towards Huang Xiang. Pung! The gun rang out. Tang Zheng's body moved quickly, leaving behind an afterimage. The bullet brushed past his body as Huang Xiang pulled the trigger again. Tang Zheng's body stopped as his left leg was shot. But he had already arrived in front of Huang Xiang and grabbed his arm that was holding the gun. Huang Xiang felt his whole body go numb as his pressure points were sealed. Then his arm was twisted like a fried dough twist. Huang Xiang involuntarily cried out in pain. The big men rushed over, punching and kicking. Tang Zheng staggered back and fell to the ground. It hurts so much. Kill him, kill him. Huang Xiang involuntarily screamed, but he was unable to move. He was like a puppet, extremely comical. Seeing this, the big men had no choice but to continue to punch and kick Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng fell to the ground, continuously waving his arms to block most of the opponent's attacks. But with his leg injured, he had no way to escape. Moreover, he did not want to escape. Huang Xiang actually killed his grandfather, so he must avenge his grandfather. Kill! Tang Zheng roared as his palms slapped the floor, causing him to fly into the air, breaking free from the encirclement. His right foot tapped the ground as he once again charged towards Huang Xiang, sending a palm strike towards his head. This palm was heavy and powerful. If hit, Huang Xiang's head would be smashed like a watermelon. He was frightened and involuntarily screamed, "Ah, no, I don't want to die. Hurry and save me." Pung! With a muffled sound, a big man blocked in front of Huang Xiang. The big man's shoulder immediately caved in, his shoulder bones shattered and he fell to the ground. The other big men also blocked Tang Jing one after another, making it difficult for him to get close to Huang Xiang. Huang Xiang regretted it to death. He originally thought that his preparations were complete, but who would have thought that Tang Jing would be so fierce when he went crazy? Tang Jing fought and retreated. It was difficult for him to get close to Huang Xiang. Among these big men, there were first-grade and second-grade refining body martial artists. With several of them working together, their strength could not be underestimated. Tang Jing was gradually unable to endure. "Little brat, hurry and run. Where there is life, there is hope," Tian Chanzi advised. "No, I must avenge my grandfather. I must kill Huang Xiang," Tang Jing stubbornly retorted. Tian Chanzi was helpless. He was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. He was flustered and exasperated. "You are seeking your own death, do you know that? I am the master of my life. Seeking my own death is my own business." Stubborn, Tian Chanzi anxiously cursed. "I, Tian Chanzi, have moved unhindered in the cultivation world. Who would have thought that in the end, would fall to such a state?" Tang Jing ignored Tian Chanzi's anger and hatefully glared at Huang Xiang. He wanted to get close to Huang Xiang and kill him. This was the first time that Tang Jing wanted to kill someone. Chapter 43. After the pressure point technique failed, Huang Xiang regained his freedom. Looking at his twisted arm, his face became extremely gloomy as he roared, "Tang Jing, I will kill you." He picked up the pistol and pointed the black muzzle at Tang Jing. Tang Jing was surrounded by the large men and had nowhere to run. Just as Huang Xiang was about to pull the trigger, a shout suddenly came from the door. "Stop!" "So." A graceful figure rushed in and stood protectively in front of Tang Jing, looking at Huang Xiang without the slightest bit of fear. "Who are you?" Huang Xiang angrily glared. "Huang Xiang, put down the gun," Yi Dingdang scolded. He had followed Tang Jing the entire time and had spent a lot of effort to sneak into the villa. Seeing this hostile scene, he immediately stopped. Huang Xiang's eyes trembled as the other party actually recognized him. "Who are you?" "Yi Dingdang," Yi Dingdang said. She believed that the other party had definitely heard of her name. As expected, after Huang Xiang heard this, his expression slightly changed as he said, "What are you doing here? You are not allowed to harm Tang Jing. He is my friend," Yi Dingdang firmly said. Huang Xiang flew into a rage as he gasped for breath and said, "He wants to kill me, why can't I kill him? I said no, allowed means not allowed." Yi Dingdang put her hands on her hips, giving off a bit of Feng Xinyang style. "No." Huang Xiang refused, but his heart was pondering what relationship Tang Jing had with Yi Dingdang for her to protect him like this. But if he didn't kill Tang Jing, then he would be letting a tiger return to the mountain. There would be no end to the trouble in the future. But with Yi Dingdang blocking in front of Tang Jing, Huang Xiang didn't dare to rashly shoot. Others might not know Yi Dingdang's identity, but Huang Xiang was very clear. Ordinary Balance had two big families in the martial arts world. Other than the Huang family, who had started their business in the underworld, there was the Ye family. The rise of the Ye family only took slightly more than 10 years, but it was unusually fierce, completely suppressing the local snake, the Huang family. Yi Tianlei and the Ye family were rivals. The Huang family had never fully grasped the background of the Ye family, but the superb martial arts of Yi Tianlei made the Huang family wary of attacking the rat for fear of breaking the vases. They simply did not dare to face him head-on. "Huang Xiang, I'm going to kill you." Tang Jing gnashed his teeth and said. "Humph, did you see that? He wants to kill me. How can I let him go?" Huang Xiang said. Yi Dingdang turned to look at Tang Jing and asked, "Tang Jing, what's going on? Why do you want to kill him?" Tang Jing's eyes were bloodshot as he said, "He killed my grandfather. I want to avenge him." Yi Dingdang was startled when she heard this. She found it hard to believe and her anger also rose. Huang Xiang was worried that if he delayed things would change. Seeing Yi Dingdang turn her head, how could he let go of this great opportunity? He gave a look to his subordinates and then everyone attacked together. He directly walked in front of Tang Zheng and raised his gun to shoot. Careful! Tang Zheng had been paying attention to Huang Xiang's movements and seeing him make a move, he gave a loud shout. Yi Dingdang did not even turn her head when she felt a wave of killing intent rush towards her, causing her entire body to tremble as she angrily shouted, "Huang Xiang, you dare!" Huang Xiang really dared. He did not dare to kill Yi Dingdang, but he dared to kill Tang Zheng. The muzzle of the gun spat out a spark as the bullet rapidly shot towards Tang Zheng. "Huang Xiang, I'm going to kill you!" Yi Dingdang angrily roared. Huang Xiang actually dared to not give her face and even used a sneak attack. He was too despicable and shameless. She moved her hand like lightning and punched Huang Xiang's chest. Bang! Huang Xiang flew out, but the corner of his mouth floated into a smile. He believed that Tang Zheng would definitely die under this shot. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept in from the entrance, causing sand and stones to fly everywhere. It was almost impossible to open one's eyes. Moreover, the crowd was also oppressed by a strong force that caused them to sway left and right. Huang Xiang could not help but blink his eyes. Then, the smile on the corner of his mouth disappeared and turned into a look of horror and suspicion. He involuntarily cried out, "Where's Tang Zheng?" Tang Zheng disappeared. The bullet shot into the chest of a burly man, blooming a bright flower of blood. Tang Zheng did not disappear. He saw the spark of the gun and felt the god of death rushing towards him. However, it was already too late for him to dodge. He thought that he would definitely die. But suddenly, a strong force came from behind and he flew out, dodging the bullet. "Feng Xinyang, you finally came. If you didn't come, your daughter would have died." Yi Dingdang was pleasantly surprised as she shouted. "Who dares to kill my daughter? I'll kill his entire family." Feng Xinyang's domineering voice rang out. Everyone followed the voice and only then did they discover that there was an additional person in the hall. It was a charming young woman and Tang Zheng was standing beside her. Huang Xiang stared at Feng Xinyang dumbfoundedly. He had heard of Feng Xinyang's fame more than once or twice. But this was the first time he saw her in person. He was so scared that he took 2 steps back. Feng Xinyang's pair of red phoenix eyes swept over everyone. Everyone was like a child who made a mistake. They all lowered their heads. Her eyes were too bright, just like a dazzling sun. It made people involuntarily feel a kind of fear, not daring to look her in the eyes. Tang Zheng's mood was not much better than the others. Although he guessed that Feng Xinyang was also a martial artist, he never thought that she would be so powerful. If it wasn't for her, he would have already died. "Tian Chanzi, what is Feng Xinyang's cultivation level?" "First grade natal stage." Tian Chanzi lightly said. "What, first grade natal stage? That's even more powerful than Yi Tianlei." "Nonsense. Then why didn't you tell me before?" "You didn't ask me. Moreover, it's only a first grade natal stage. It's not that powerful. What's there to say?" Tang Zheng was speechless. Luckily Feng Xinyang arrived in time. "Your little life can be considered saved." Tian Chanzi let out a sigh of relief. "Feng Xinyang, you finally came. Just now he wanted to kill me." Yi Dingdang pointed at Huang Xiang and said. Feng Xinyang directly walked towards Huang Xiang and said, "You wanted to kill my daughter?" Huang Xiang's complexion was ashen. Every time Feng Xinyang took a step forward, he would take a step back. Finally, he retreated to the corner with nowhere to retreat. He trembled as he said, "Misunderstanding, this is all a misunderstanding. I never wanted to kill your daughter." "Then why did you shoot at me?" Yi Dingdang angrily asked. "I wasn't trying to kill you. I was trying to kill Tang Zheng." "Kill Tang Zheng?" Feng Xinyang stopped in her tracks. Huang Xiang let out a sigh of relief. He made up his mind not to say that he was trying to kill Yi Dingdang. He had to point the spearhead at Tang Zheng. This way, Feng Xinyang wouldn't be angry. Right, I wanted to deal with Tang Zheng. I definitely didn't want to deal with Miss Yi. Huang Xiang added. Why do you want to kill Tang Zheng? Feng Xinyang coldly asked. He wanted to kill me. Of course I want to kill him. Nonsense. You killed my grandfather first. Of course I want to take revenge for my grandfather. Tang Zheng loudly roared. Feng Xinyang's eyes shrunk as she said, You killed his grandfather? Her imposing manner was oppressive. A wave of cold air rushed towards him, causing his heart to tremble. He was almost unable to open his mouth. Do you know who Tang Zheng is to me? Feng Xinyang asked again. Who? Huang Xiang asked while trembling with fear. He is my son-in-law. You want to kill him? Do you want my daughter to be a widow for the rest of her life? Feng Xinyang's voice wasn't loud, but in Huang Xiang's ears it was like a bolt from the blue, causing him to be dumbstruck like a wooden chicken. Yi Dingdang heard this and was greatly embarrassed. He faintly glared at Feng Xinyang but was directly ignored by her. So, you said you wanted to kill Tang Zheng. How should I deal with you? Feng Xinyang asked. Huang Xiang swallowed his saliva. He really didn't expect things to turn out like this. Didn't Xiao Fei say that Tang Zheng was a poor boy with no power or influence? How could he become the Ye family's son-in-law? Could it be that the Ye family also fancied his superb cultivation technique and didn't hesitate to marry their daughter to him? If that was the case, then wouldn't he have made a huge enemy? Seeing Feng Xinyang aggressively looking at him, he was scared and hurriedly said, This is all a misunderstanding. It really is a misunderstanding. His grandfather isn't dead. Nonsense. Just now you clearly said that you killed my grandfather. Tang Zheng angrily shouted. No, just now I was lying to you. I really didn't kill him. He is locked up in the basement. Tang Zheng's eyebrows raised in joy as he said, Really? Quickly bring me there. Huang Xiang didn't dare to disobey Tang Zheng's wishes. Now that his little life was in the other's hands, how could he dare to resist? In the basement, when Tang Zheng saw his grandfather lying on the ground, he hurriedly rushed over. He really was alive, but his eyes were tightly closed as if he was unconscious. What did you do to my grandfather? He was just injected with a tranquilizer. He will wake up in a few hours. Huang Xiang explained. He didn't kill Tang Dehai at the beginning because he wanted to use him to force Tang Zheng to submit. Killing him would have no effect. Later on, he deliberately said that he killed Tang Dehai in order to make Tang Zheng panic. He didn't expect that he would drive the other crazy and turn one of his arms into a fried dough twist. Tang Zheng, how do you want to deal with him? Feng Xinyang asked. Although his grandfather wasn't dead, all of this started because of Huang Xiang. Moreover, the other party wanted to kill him. This enmity was set. He walked step by step towards Huang Xiang. Huang Xiang was so scared that he hurriedly begged for mercy. Tang Zheng, this is all a misunderstanding. Your grandfather is fine. Please let me go. Let you go? Then would you have let me go just now? Huang Xiang was speechless. From the beginning, he didn't want to let Tang Zheng go. Seeing Tang Zheng's murderous look, Feng Xinyang knew that he really wanted to kill. This was the first time she saw this side of Tang Zheng. Her heart slightly moved and she was very interested. However, she still persuaded, Tang Zheng, since your grandfather is fine, then let him live. Huang Xiang was the only child of the Huang family. Killing him would cause a lot of unforeseen events. The Ye family wasn't afraid of the Huang family's revenge, but Tang Zheng had to be careful. After all, he was alone and weak. Although the Ye family could protect him, the Huang family would definitely make a move on him. That would be disadvantageous to Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng took a deep breath and looked at Feng Xinyang. He already understood her good intentions. However, you can avoid death, but you can't avoid punishment. Feng Xinyang said coldly. Huang Xiang's face was full of hope, but when he heard this, his face instantly turned pale. Tang Zheng, how do you want to deal with him? Chapter 44. Tang Zheng did not understand what was in the basement next door, but if it was something that could make Tian Chanzi so surprised, then it must be something extraordinary. Bring us to the basement next door, Tang Zheng said without any doubt. Huang Xiang was stunned for a moment and said, What basement next door? My house only has one basement. Humph, since that is the case, then I will immediately kill you, Tang Zheng coldly said. Huang Xiang's heart was in a mess as he inwardly said, How did he know that there is a basement next door? That is where I hide my treasures, most people do not know about it, so how did this brat know about it when it is his first time here? Huang Xiang was extremely unwilling, but in order to save his life, he had no choice but to bring them to another basement. The entrance to this basement was very well hidden, behind a bookshelf. After activating the mechanism, a passageway appeared, and a gust of cold air rushed out. Even though it was March, it was still chilling. Feng Xinyang thoughtfully looked at Tang Zheng, as she did not understand why the opposite party would come to this basement. Yi Dingdang also opened her eyes wide, as she stared at Tang Zheng as if he was an alien. Seeing his mysterious appearance, she was filled with curiosity. Huang Xiang's face was bitter as he led the way in front. The group arrived at a hall that looked like an exhibition hall. The hall was filled with a dazzling array of antiques, calligraphy and paintings, making people feel as if they were in a museum. Yi Dingdang looked around and was speechless. Huang Xiang, I did not expect you to have collected so many treasures. Huang Xiang's face was bitter as he did not say a word. Feng Xinyang did not bat an eyelid, but she was curious as to what Tang Zheng would do next. Tang Zheng followed Tian Chanzi's instructions and went straight to the center of the hall where there was an antique box. Huang Xiang was dumbstruck as he stared at Tang Zheng, unable to understand why he would go to the box. Open it. Tang Zheng pointed at the lock of the box and said. Huang Xiang hesitated and said, These are all antiques, there is nothing to see. Open it. Tang Zheng coldly shouted. When he walked into the box, he also felt something strange. A cold feeling came from the box, but he didn't feel uncomfortable. On the contrary, he felt very comfortable. This feeling was very similar to the feeling when he absorbed pure Yin energy. Huang Xiang had no choice but to open the box. Several people's gazes were immediately attracted to the box. A long blade with a cold light was lying in the box. Yi Dingdang shivered and cried out, It's so cold. Feng Xinyang wrinkled her eyebrows and held her daughter's hand. Only then did Yi Dingdang feel a bit warmer. Huang Xiang's appearance was not much better than Yi Dingdang's. It was obvious that he was using his internal energy to resist the chill. This chill came from the long saber. Kid, this is the Yin blade. There's hope for you to break through, Tian Chanzi shouted in surprise. Yin blade? Yes, in a place rich in Yin Qi, it absorbed enough pure Yin energy and turned into a Yin blade. This kind of blade is not something an average person would dare to approach. Moreover, it often contains a baleful aura that can disturb a person's mind. This blade must have been unearthed from an ancient tomb. Tian Chanzi explained. Tang Zheng was secretly excited. He originally thought that there was no hope for him to break through. He didn't expect to encounter a Yin blade. As long as he absorbed the pure Yin energy, he could break through to the third grade refining Qi and refine the life-continuing pill to save his grandfather. At this time, he didn't mind letting Huang Xiang live. If it weren't for him, he wouldn't have found the Yin blade. I will take this saber with me, Tang Zheng said. Ah. Huang Xiang opened his mouth wide. He spent a lot of money to get this saber from a group of grave robbers. It could cut iron like mud. It was indeed a good saber, but the baleful aura was too strong. He couldn't always wear it, so he put it in the basement. He didn't expect that Tang Zheng would find it. Not giving. Humph, I want to see if your life is more important or if this saber is more important? Tang Jing asked. Yi Dingdang echoed, that's right, you are too stingy. Using this saber to exchange for your life, you have profited greatly. Huang Xiang's face was bitter. A treasured saber could only be found by chance. Especially for a martial artist, he was really reluctant to part with it. But under the eaves, he had no choice but to lower his head. Moreover, he had already obtained Tang Zhang's peerless technique, so a treasured saber was not that important. Okay, you take it. Tang Zheng immediately closed the box and hugged it to his chest. Feng Xinyang hesitated for a moment and said, Tang Zheng, if you need a weapon, you can go to my house. My house has a few good weapons. This saber is not suitable for you. Feng Xinyang's fiery eyes could see that this saber was not simple. Bringing it back would not be a good thing. Tang Zheng could not explain the reason to her and said, I appreciate Aunt Feng's good intentions, but I only want this saber. Feng Xinyang was helpless and did not try to persuade him anymore. The few of them once again arrived at the hall. Tang Dehai was still unconscious. Tang Zheng carried him on his back to Feng Xinyang's car and the few of them sped away. Huang Xiang's face gradually became gloomy. His twisted arms became more and more painful. Finally, he screamed and said, Quickly send me to the hospital. It hurts so much. Tang Zheng sat in the car. His tense nerves gradually relaxed. The pain from the gunshot wound in his left leg became more and more intense. In the end, he could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. Tang Zheng, there is a lot of blood on your leg. He suffered a gunshot wound. I will take you to my house to treat the wound. Otherwise, it will be too troublesome to go to the hospital. Feng Xinyang said. Tang Zheng did not object. The bullet was still embedded in the wound. If it was not treated in time, the infection would be troublesome. Feng Xinyang drove while observing Tang Zheng through the rearview mirror. Although he was injured, he was still calm. This was something that most people would not be able to do. The more she looked at him, the more she felt that Tang Zheng was not ordinary. The more she looked at him, the more she liked him. On the contrary, Yi Dingdang was always shocked. She did not have the calm temperament of someone who was always calm in the face of danger. After arriving at the Ya family, after a small operation, the bullet in Tang Zheng's leg was removed. Tang Zheng looked at the bullet that was stained with blood and recalled the previous battle. Only then did he realize how thrilling it was. Squeak. The door was pushed open. Yi Dingdong's head poked through the crack in the door. A pair of big eyes looked around. Come in. What are you doing hiding at the door? Tang Zheng said. Yi Dingdang walked in and said, Who is hiding? This is my house. Do I need to hide? Tang Zheng did not argue with her. Today, if she and Feng Xinyang did not arrive in time, then his life would be in danger. No matter what, he should thank the other party. Thus, he sincerely said, Yi Dingdang, thank you for saving me. Yi Dingdang beamed with joy. She thought that he still had a conscience. She impatiently said, It's good that you know that I saved you. Tell me, how are you going to thank me now? Tang Zheng spread out his hands and said, I am poor and can't give you money. How do you want to thank me? Dingdang, Tang Zheng saved you once. This time, you saved him. This is called helping each other. There is no need to thank me. Feng Xinyang and Yi Tianlei walked in. Feng Xinyang joked. Yi Dingdang immediately pouted in dissatisfaction. I helped him wash his underwear. I have already repaid him for saving my life. This time, he really owes me. However, she could not say this. She could only act coquettishly and said, Feng Xinyang, whose mother are you? Why are you helping an outsider? Feng Xinyang smiled sweetly and said, Tang Zheng is not an outsider. How am I helping an outsider? Yi Dingdang knew that if she continued, Feng Xinyang would definitely matchmake her and Tang Zheng. Thus, she tactfully shut her mouth. Tang Zheng, you don't have to worry about the matter between you and Huang Xiang. I will take care of you. He will not dare to find trouble with you again. Yi Tianlei said in high spirits. Tang Zheng clearly felt that Yi Tianlei's temperament had changed. He said, Uncle Yi, congratulations. Yi Tianlei laughed out loud. Brat, your eyes are really too poisonous, you saw through it so quickly. Yi Dingdang was pleasantly surprised. Dad, you have already reached first grade innate stage? Yi Tianlei smiled and nodded, saying, I just broke through today. When you called me, it was the crucial moment for me to break through. Thus, only your mother went to save you. Wah, that's great. Yi Dingdang was so happy that she almost jumped up. Yi Tianlei looked at Tang Zheng with shining eyes and said, This is all thanks to little Tang. If you did not open up my meridians, would not have been able to step into the innate stage in this lifetime. Uncle Yi is too modest. No, little Tang. You have done a great favor for my Ya family. If anyone dares to harm you, my Ya family will definitely not sit idly by. Huang Xiang has been jumping around happily recently. It is time to knock him down a bit. Yi Tianlei said. Tang Zheng did not reject this kind intention. The Huang family's strength in the ordinary balance was extraordinary. If Yi Tianlei stepped in, it would save him a lot of trouble. Uncle Yi, I will go home with my grandfather first. Tang Zheng said. Little Tang, there is something I do not know if I should say. Yi Tianlei said hesitantly. Uncle Yi, if you have something to say, please say it. Yi Tianlei and Feng Xinyang looked at each other and sighed. The doctor just checked on the old man and found that his condition is very poor. If you trust me, I will send the old man to a better hospital in Beijing for treatment. That way, the chances of recovery will be greater. He said it very tactfully. In fact, the doctor told him that Tang Dahai did not have much time left and that the hope of recovery was very slim. When Yi Dingdang heard this, she quickly advised, That's right. Go to Beijing or go abroad. That way, your grandfather will recover faster. Tang Zheng was moved but did not hesitate to decline. I appreciate Uncle Ye's good intentions. My grandfather will be fine. I will have to trouble Uncle Yi to send me home. You are not going to the hospital? Yi Dingdang asked in astonishment. Tang Zheng did not plan to go to the hospital. As long as he finished refining the life-continuing pill, his grandfather would be fine. If he went to the hospital, the doctors would be surprised and it would be troublesome. I'm not going. Grandfather has always wanted to go home, so I will bring him home. Yi Tianlei thought that Tang Zheng had given up and wanted to cherish the last moments he had with his grandfather. Thus, he did not continue to persuade him and send a car to send them home. Tianlei, regarding Huang Xiang's matter, you must take care of it. You must not leave any future troubles for Tang Zheng. Feng Xinyang warned. Yi Tianlei nodded and said, Of course I know. Huang Xi does not know how to discipline his son. Help him discipline him. If he still dares to get angry, I don't mind teaching him a lesson. Huang Xi has always opposed our Ya family. It is time to knock some sense into him. Once this matter is over, you can prepare to return to Beijing. Chapter 45. Huang Xiang's arm was in a cast and wrapped in bandages as he stood pitifully in front of a middle-aged man. This man was overbearing and his eyes were shining. In front of him, Huang Xiang was like a well-behaved kitten. Pa! The middle-aged man suddenly slammed his palm down, shattering a corner of the solid wood table. Preposterous, does the Ya family really think that there's no one in my Huang family? They dare to bully my son. Dad, the Ya family doesn't even put you and my Huang family in their eyes. They actually want to kill me for an insignificant brat. They are simply going too far. Huang Xiang fanned the flames. This middle-aged man was the head of the Huang family, Huang Biao. His nickname was Huang Xi, but no one dared to call him Huang Xi anymore. Whether it was in the business world or in the underworld, they all respectfully called him Chief Huang or Master Huang. Master Huang, Yi Tianlei has barged in. Suddenly, one of his subordinates hurriedly rushed in and cried out involuntarily. Huang Biao suddenly stood up, his expression greatly changed as he said, I was just about to look for him, but he actually delivered himself to me. Hang, I haven't seen him in a long time. Before, I was only an 8th grade natal stage cultivator, but now I've successfully cultivated to 9th grade natal stage, the same realm as Yi Tianlei. I want to let him know my strength. Pang! Several of his subordinates flew in like kites with their strings cut. In the next second, Yi Tianlei appeared in the hall. Yi Tianlei, you've gone too far. Huang Biao took a step forward, glaring at Yi Tianlei as he spoke. Yi Tianlei jokingly said, I've gone too far? Hang, why don't you ask your son what he did? Not only did he almost kill my daughter, but he also wanted to kill my little friend Tang Zheng. If I don't teach you a lesson, you'll think that my Ya family is easy to bully. Nonsense, it's clearly Feng Xinyang who is taking advantage of her position to bully others. Look at how badly she injured my son. What's the point of saying so much nonsense? Let's see who's the real deal. Yi Tianlei knew Huang Biao's nature too well. The stronger you were, the more he was afraid of you. The weaker you were, the more he would bully you. Yi Tianlei made his move. Immediately, a strong wind blew and the atmosphere in the room changed. Huang Xiang was sent flying and slammed into the wall. Huang Biao attacked like lightning, but when his fist arrived in front of Yi Tianlei, it was unable to move an inch further. Then, a strong force hit him in the face, causing Huang Biao to fall back several steps, breaking a lot of furniture before he could stop. The hall was like a typhoon, the furniture was in a mess. Yi Tianlei had only used one move, a simple move, but the situation had suddenly changed. Huang Biao's self-confidence was instantly destroyed. Originally, he thought that since he had reached the 9th stage natal stage, his strength would be on par with Yi Tianlei. However, the strength that Yi Tianlei had displayed had completely suppressed him. Although the difference between Ho Tian and Xian Tian seemed to be only one level, in reality, it was as different as heaven and earth. You have already reached Xian Tian? Huang Biao asked in disbelief. Yi Tianlei coldly snorted and said, Don't think that just because you are a 9th stage natal stage that you can call the wind and summon the rain in ordinary Balance City. Keep a low profile so that you can live longer. As his voice fell, Yi Tianlei's right foot stomped on the ground. Gotcha, the ground quickly cracked and finally became like a spider web. It was a ghastly sight. If this kick landed on a person's body, one could imagine how serious the consequences would be. The Xiantian stage was indeed extraordinary. Yi Tianlei left, leaving behind the Huang family's father and son in shock. Their hearts were in turmoil. Tang Zheng and his grandfather returned home. Not long after, Tang Dahai woke up and found himself at home. His expression was a bit confused as he said, Little Zheng, weren't I at the hospital? How did I get home? I remember that someone came to the hospital looking for me. Tang Zheng heard this and hurriedly interrupted him and said, Grandfather, didn't you want to go home? Let's just come back. Tang Dahai was diverted from the topic and was overjoyed. He hurriedly nodded and said, Right, going home is much more comfortable than going to the hospital. Moreover, it saves money. During this time in the hospital, you must have spent a lot of money. That money is for your university tuition. Grandfather, the hospital doesn't cost much. Moreover, you don't have to worry about the tuition. I can work during the summer so the tuition won't be a problem. Tang Jing already had 200,000 in cash, so he did not have to worry about money for the time being. It is too tiring to work during the summer. Your main task is to study, so how can you waste time working? Grandfather, this is called social practice. Right now the school is promoting this. Moreover, with social practice, it will be easier to find a job in the future. Tang Jing found a reason. Tang Dahai smiled happily and said, Our family's little Zheng has really grown up. You know so much more than your grandfather. Grandfather, you should rest at home for the next few days. I'll go cook. Tang Zheng said as he limped towards the kitchen. Little Zheng, what happened to your leg? Tang Dahai's face changed as he asked with concern. It's nothing. I accidentally fell while walking. It will be fine in 2 days. Tang Zheng's pain tolerance far exceeded that of ordinary people. In addition, he had true qi to heal himself. Even though he suffered a gunshot wound, he was still able to walk. Tang Zheng finished cooking dinner and ate with his grandfather. When his grandfather went to sleep, he took out an antique-looking box from under the bed. When he opened the box, a wave of cold air rushed out. Little brat, after you finish absorbing the Yin Blade's pure Yin energy tonight, you will be able to reach the 3rd grade refining qi. Tian Chanzi said excitedly. The stronger Tang Zheng's martial arts, the stronger Tian Chanzi's soul will be. Tang Zheng focused his mind and raised the Yin blade with both hands. Using the ancient clear heaven scroll, the surging pure Yin energy from the blade entered Tang Zheng's palms. It then flowed through his meridians and finally gathered in his 9 main meridians. See, Tang Zheng sucked in a breath of cold air as if he had fallen into an ice cave. His body was instantly frozen. This amount of pure Yin energy was many times more than the amount he absorbed from Fang Shishi's body. If an ordinary person absorbed this much pure Yin energy, they would immediately die. However, Tang Zheng did not. His body's endurance far exceeded that of an ordinary person. A blazing hot energy rippled out from his 9 main meridians and immediately neutralized the pure Yin energy. Tang Zheng felt warm and the cold feeling was instantly dispelled. Tang Zheng understood that this was the 9 Yang Saint body's effect. He continued to absorb the Yin Blade's pure Yin energy. Not long after, the 9 Yang Saint body also neutralized the pure Yin energy. Just like this, the cycle repeated. As the sky turned white, Tang Zheng suddenly opened his eyes. It was as if there was a flash of light. His face rippled with joy as his gaze involuntarily fell on the Yin blade. The radiance on the Yin blade had completely disappeared and it had turned rusty. Tang Zheng's hand moved slightly. Kacha, the Yin blade broke into pieces. This is an ancient blade. Because of the pure Yin energy support, it became a treasured blade that could cut through iron like mud. Now that the pure Yin energy has been completely absorbed by you, it is exposed to the air. Naturally, its radiance is no longer there. Tian Chanzi explained. Tang Zheng understood. In fact, this was the result of rapid oxidation. He got out of bed and stretched his body. He felt better than ever before. He really wanted to roar, I have finally cultivated to the 3rd grade of qi refining. At this moment, each of his 9 main meridians had 3 inches of qi. It filled his meridians, giving him an inexhaustible amount of strength. The wound on my leg doesn't seem to hurt as much as yesterday. Little brat, congratulations. Tian Chanzi said with gratification. Tian Chanzi, thank you. Tang Zheng sincerely said. If he did not meet Tian Chanzi, his life would not have changed so much and his grandfather would not have left him. Your grandfather still has 2 days to live. Today I will teach you alchemy. After 1 day you will be able to refine the life-continuing pill and your grandfather will be saved. Tang Zheng's confidence soared. Aside from being able to refine pills, a 3rd grade refining qi cultivator can also practice techniques. His path of cultivation can be considered to have truly begun. What awaits him is an even more magnificent world. Little Zheng, get up and eat. You still have to go to school. Tang Dahai's voice came from outside the door. Tang Zheng hurriedly walked out and found that his grandfather had already gotten up and made breakfast. Grandfather, why did you get up so early? You should have waited for me to get up. Tang Dahai kindly smiled and said, I am old and sleep less, so I got up early to make breakfast for you. I don't know how much more breakfast I can make. Saying this, his eyes gradually dimmed. Tang Zheng felt a pain in his heart. His grandfather must know that he does not have much time left. Tang Zheng silently ate breakfast, holding back the tears that were about to fall. He silently told himself that his grandfather would not die and that he would continue to accompany him. Tang Dahai ate a little and then put down his chopsticks. He quietly looked at Tang Zheng and asked, "Is it delicious?" Tang Zheng nodded his head, "It's delicious. Grandfather's cooking is the best." "Hee hee, silly child. Grandfather's cooking is very shallow. What's so good about it?" "No, grandfather's cooking is delicious. It is the best food in the world," Tang Zheng solemnly said. Tang Dahai happily smiled. Looking at Tang Zheng, it was as if time went back 18 years. That day, he went out to pick up garbage as usual. But when he arrived at the garbage dump, he saw a rolled-up quilt. He thought that it was someone else's broken quilt and naturally wanted to pick it up to see if it could be recycled. But when he opened the quilt, he found a baby inside. The baby was staring at him with big round eyes. The baby did not cry but instead smiled at him. That simple smile instantly captured his heart, giving him the urge to raise him up, but he did not immediately take Tang Zheng for himself. Instead, he carefully carried him home and specially went to buy milk powder and milk bottles to carefully feed him. Afterwards, he went around asking if there was a family that had lost a baby, but even after walking through the entire Chongqing city, he did not hear of any family that had lost a baby. He finally understood that the baby was an abandoned baby. He felt that it was a gift from God, so he decided to raise the baby. At that time, he was almost 50 years old and decided to treat the baby as his own grandson. Although he had never married, with this baby, he felt that his life was complete. No matter how hard and tired he was in the future, he always had a smile on his face. Chapter 46. As Tang Zheng walked, he looked back at his grandfather who was standing at the door. His grandfather waved his hand from afar and sent him off with his eyes. Today, Tang Zheng's main task was to refine pills, but he had to make a trip to school first. Yesterday, he suddenly left school, and later his homeroom teacher, Lu Qingmei, called him, and Fang Shishir also called to ask about his well-being. Today, he had to go to school to ask for leave, and then find a place to refine pills. "Guess who I am?" Suddenly, Tang Zheng's eyes were covered by a pair of hands and a gentle voice asked, "Hey, who is it?" "Let me guess, it's a great beauty." Tang Zheng's cultivation breakthrough made him in a good mood and deliberately said mischievously, "Humph, all you think about is a great beauty." Fang Shishir loosened her hands and looked at him coquettishly. "Of course, aren't you a great beauty? I think about you, is there anything wrong with that?" Looking at her sweet smile, Tang Zheng held her hand and felt that today's sun was particularly bright. A kind of happiness spontaneously arose. In the past, he was worried about his grandfather's illness, but now that it was no longer a problem, his heart was completely relaxed. "You still have a conscience. Yesterday you left in such a hurry, where did you go?" Fang Shishir pursed her lips and asked with a smile. "Going to get grandfather discharged." "Grandfather's illness is better?" Fang Shishir asked in surprise. Almost. "That's great, tonight I'll go to your house to see grandfather." "Not tonight." Tang Zheng tactfully declined. "How about tomorrow? Grandfather needs to rest tonight." "Okay, tomorrow then. After school, you go back and accompany grandfather, you don't need to accompany me." Tang Zheng's head warmed. She was really too considerate, completely without the arrogance of a rich family's daughter. What's wrong with your leg?" Fang Shishir looked at him in surprise. "Yesterday I accidentally fell, it's not a big problem." "Is it serious? Let me see." "There's no need to look. I'm really fine. Besides, it's not good for so many people to look at me." Fang Shishir looked around and indeed found that many people were secretly looking at them. She glared at him and said, "I'll go to your house tomorrow night to take a look." Tang Zheng found Lu Qingmei and applied for leave. Lu Qingmei was considerate and approved his leave. Tang Zheng walked out of the school gate and coincidentally met Feng Xinyang, who was sending Yi Dingdang to school. Tang Zheng told the other party that he couldn't protect Yi Dingdang at school today. Feng Xinyang didn't force him and let him handle his own personal matters. She also told him that the Huang family's matter had been resolved. Tang Jing expressed his gratitude. Without any worries, he went straight to ordinary Balance Mountain. Refining pills couldn't be done anywhere. Generally, one would choose a place with dense spiritual energy. Moreover, no one could disturb them. The back of ordinary Balance Mountain was the best place. At the back of ordinary Balance Mountain, Tang Jing sat on the edge of a cliff. He was meditating and thinking about the pill refining technique that Tian Chanzi had taught him. The refining process of the life-continuing pill wasn't too difficult. Tang Jing carefully took out the heaven-fragrant flower and the other medicinal ingredients that he had purchased. Luckily, Tang Jing had extra money, otherwise he would be at a loss on what to do with these medicinal ingredients. He placed the herbs into a small cauldron. This cauldron was not a rare item. He had bought it from an antique shop and spent 100,000 yuan. This time, he had spent almost all of his martial arts and all of his savings from the Yi family to concoct the pills. After the preparations were done, he silently operated his secret arts. Immediately, the spiritual energy between heaven and earth changed. The clouds outside the cliff began to roll. This was because of the spiritual energy fluctuations. Hoo-hoo, a trace of spiritual energy invisible to the naked eye fell from the sky and entered the furnace. A faint light gradually rose from the furnace. Tang Jing continuously operated his secret arts to refine the medicinal energy of the herbs. After a while, the herbs gradually dried up. However, there was a water-like thing in the furnace. This was the effect of the medicinal energy combined with the spiritual energy. Finally, the dried herbs completely evaporated. Only this water-like thing was left in the furnace. You can put in the heaven-fragrant flower now, Tian Chanzi instructed. Tang Jing took out the heaven-fragrant flower from the wooden box and placed it in the furnace. Hua! The water seemed to be boiling. A strange fragrance assailed his nostrils, making him feel refreshed. The heaven-fragrant flower had completely melted in the furnace. Tang Jing immediately closed the lid and continuously operated his secret arts to stimulate the medicinal properties of the heaven-fragrant flower. Unknowingly, the sunset glow flew over the horizon. Tang Jing suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes were brimming with surprise. Success! Tang Jing suppressed his joy and opened the lid of the furnace. Hoo! A fragrant smell assailed his nostrils, making him feel as if he was floating in the air. Tang Jing opened his eyes wide. He saw 3 fingernail-sized pills quietly lying in the furnace. How can there be 3? Tang Jing was shocked. Tian Chanzi also could not hide his surprise. He said, "Boy, your secret arts are mellow and extraordinary. That's why there are 3 pills. With the same raw materials, the stronger the person, the more pills they can refine. A life-continuing pill can extend one's life by 10 years. Then if grandfather eats all 3 pills, wouldn't he be able to extend his life by 30 years? Humph, if you want your grandfather to die early, you can give them all to him." What do you mean? The life-continuing pill is a great tonic, and its medicinal properties are very tyrannical. Your grandfather's life is in danger, and all of his organs are failing. If he were to eat 2 life-continuing pills in a row, the tyrannical medicinal properties would directly take his life. Tang Jing suddenly understood. Going too far is as bad as falling short. This was the same principle as a person who has just recovered from a long illness. Then I can only keep the other 2 life-continuing pills. He took out the 3 sparkling and translucent life-continuing pills from the cauldron and placed them into a small porcelain bottle, keeping them close to his body. Kacha! Suddenly, cracks appeared on the surface of the pill furnace. The pill furnace instantly disintegrated, turning into pieces of debris. Ah, how can this be? This is an antique bought for 100,000 yuan. How can it be so useless? Humph, this is only an ordinary furnace. It can only withstand 1 refinement. If you want to refine better pills in the future, you will need a better furnace. Moreover, this furnace is only operated by secret arts. In the future, you will use true fire to operate the furnace. The requirements for the furnace will be even higher. Tian Chanzi explained. True fire? That's right. There are many fires in the world. Other than the ordinary fires used for cooking, there are also level 1 to level 6 true fires. The more powerful the true fire is, the faster you can refine pills. Moreover, the pills refined will also be better. Now that you can cultivate spells, you can cultivate true fires. Tang Jing nodded his head. He temporarily threw this question to the back of his mind. He impatiently went down the mountain and rushed home. His grandfather sat at the door, leaning against the wall. He looked in the direction of Tang Zheng's home. Suddenly, a familiar figure jumped into his eyes. He wanted to stand up but found that he did not have any strength. His life was quietly leaving his body. Ai, King of Hell, are you going to take me now? Little Zheng, your grandfather will bless you in the underworld. His consciousness was gradually blurring. He understood that his time had come. Grandfather, I'm back. Tang Zheng ran in front of his grandfather. He found that his grandfather's eyes were closed. His face was pale and he was on the verge of death. Hurry, give him the life-continuing pill. His life is almost at its end. Tian Chanzi urged. Tang Zheng hurriedly took out the life-continuing pill and put it into his grandfather's mouth. The life-continuing pill melted in his mouth. It turned into a warm current that flowed into his grandfather's body. Put him on the bed. After a night of rest he will be fine. Tian Chanzi said. Tang Zheng carried his grandfather to the bed. Seeing his grandfather's pale face gradually turn red, he finally let out a sigh of relief. He really did succeed. Tang Zheng refining the life-continuing pill consumed a lot of his mental energy. Now that he could relax, he unknowingly fell asleep. At midnight, Tang Zheng felt 2 cold breaths come from outside the door. Then, in front of his grandfather appeared 2 blurry figures, one black and one white. He only heard the white figure loudly say, Tang Dahai, your time has come to an end. Come with us to the ghost domain to report. Tang Dahai quietly lay there motionless. The black shadow exclaimed in surprise, oh no, someone actually extended his life. He gained another 10 years of lifespan, we can't take his soul away. Who has the guts to extend someone's life and disturb the cycle of reincarnation? The white figure angrily shouted. Who are you? You are not allowed to harm my grandfather. Tang Zheng suddenly jumped up and roared. The black and white figures saw Tang Zheng and were shocked. Who are you? You are not allowed to harm my grandfather. Tang Zheng directly rushed over and grabbed the black and white figures with both hands. Hang, ignorant human, you dare to disobey a ghost servant. I will first take your soul to the ghost realm. One black and one white, 2 withered bone-like arms grabbed at Tang Zheng, as a cold air rushed towards him. Tang Zheng shivered but was not afraid. If anyone dared to harm his grandfather, he would stop them regardless of his own safety. Bang bang. Tang Zheng pushed out both of his palms, and 2 blazing hot qi gushed out, dispersing the cold qi into nothingness. These 2 palms just so happened to hit the 2 bone-like palms, causing the black and white shadows to let out 2 screams, as if they had met their nemesis, and continuously retreated. This kid is strange. The black figure screamed. Yes, the pure yang energy on his body is very heavy. The white figure echoed. Could it be that he has a pure yang body? It must be. A pure yang body is our nemesis. Let's go. The black and white figures screamed and disappeared without a trace. Tang Zheng did not chase. He proudly looked at the direction of the other party and said, you guys run fast. The sky gradually brightened. A rooster crowed. Tang Zheng suddenly sat up and rubbed his eyes. He suspiciously said, I had a strange dream last night. I seem to have dreamed of black and white figures. I drove them away and saved grandfather. Yes, how is grandfather? He looked over and saw that the bed was empty. He shouted, "Grandfather, where is grandfather? How come he's gone? Little Zheng, what's wrong? Did you have a nightmare?" Tang Dahai pushed the door and asked with concern. Tang Zheng rushed over and tightly hugged his grandfather. He cheered, "Grandfather, you're fine. You're really fine." Tang Dahai laughed heartily, patted his back, and said, "Why are you acting like a child? Aren't I perfectly fine? It's strange. I don't know what happened. After I woke up, I felt that my whole body was much stronger and full of spirit." Tang Jing carefully looked at his grandfather and found that his complexion was rosy. Even the wrinkles had disappeared. It was as if he had suddenly become 10 years younger. His entire temperament had undergone an earth-shattering change. Especially his pair of eyes were no longer turbid and had become very spirited. Chapter 47. Tang Zheng sat in the classroom, attentively listening to the lecture. His mouth would occasionally reveal a faint smile, as if he was dreaming of a beautiful dream, causing Yi Dingdang to raise her eyebrows. She could not help but ask, "Hey, what are you foolishly smiling about? Are you daydreaming?" "Nothing." The matter of his grandfather's recovery was a secret. Of course he couldn't tell anyone. "Hang, if you don't want to say then forget it." Yi Dingdang found that he was becoming more and more mysterious. "Oh right, why did you provoke Huang Xiang that day?" This was a question that had always troubled Yi Dingdang. Who knows? Huang Xiang is used to bullying people. How could there be a reason? Tang Zheng said perfunctorily. "Hang, nonsense. Although Huang Xiang is not a good person, there must be a reason. Then you go ask him. I actually also want to know the reason." Tang Zheng didn't want to make his boxing practice public. Yi Dingdang didn't get any useful information from him and curled her lips in dissatisfaction. In fact, this was also a question that troubled her parents. But they were considerate and wouldn't easily pry into other people's secrets. Ding ling ling. When the bell rang for the end of class, Lu Qingmei put down her chalk, looked around and said, "Tomorrow is March's monthly test. This time, everyone must do their best and truly test your strength. Afterwards, you can find out what you missed and make up for it. Do you all have confidence in yourselves?" Yes. Everyone was full of confidence. During this period of time, the learning atmosphere of Class 7 had indeed undergone an earth-shattering change. Lu Qingmei saw it all and nodded her head in satisfaction, saying, "It's good that you have confidence, I also believe in you." Lu Qingmei's eyes swept around and fell on the last two people who were whispering. She frowned imperceptibly. During this period of time, Tang Zheng often asked for leave and wasn't very serious in class. Although there was a reason for this, but the college entrance exam was related to his life. He couldn't be careless. "Tang Zheng, come with me to the office." The others all looked at Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng's limelight had gradually passed, and the attention on him had decreased by a lot. Everyone found that he was a bit unique, and other than that, they couldn't see any advantages or disadvantages. Takashi secretly glanced at Tang Zheng. His eyes flashed with resentment and thought, didn't Xiao Fei say that he had a way to deal with him? How come nothing happened to him after so many days? F***ck, I'll immediately go find Xiao Fei and ask him clearly. Xiao Fei was pulled by Tang Zheng to a small forest next to the field. "Xiao Fei, why is Tang Zheng safe and sound in what you do?" Xiao Fei's face was gloomy. Speaking of this matter, he had a stomach full of anger. Yesterday when he went to ask Huang Xiang about the results, Huang Xiang's temper was very big. He even scolded him a few times. But Xiao Fei didn't dare to talk back. He knew that his family wasn't the Huang family's opponent. If he wanted to deal with Tang Zheng, he would need Huang Xiang's help. Finally, Huang Xiang asked about Tang Zheng's school life in detail. When he heard that Tang Zheng had a girlfriend, and that she was Xiao Fei's crush, Huang Xiang immediately urged Xiao Fei to find a chance to get Fang Shishir. As a man, if he dares to think, then he dares to do it. This sentence touched Xiao Fei's heart. Xiao Fei had been coveting Fang Shishir for a long time. Seeing that she was about to become Tang Zheng's possession, his eyes were already red with jealousy. But he was still hesitating whether or not to do it. After all, Fang Shishir's identity was not ordinary. My actions, Heng, you can't just rely on me. You also have to take action. Xiao Fei unhappily said. Takashi angrily shouted, what do you mean? It's not like you don't know how powerful Tang Zheng is. If I had a way, why would I need to find you? Heng, I think if you don't take action, Fang Shishir will really be eaten by him. What did you say? Xiao Fei grabbed Takashi's collar with a fierce look on his face. Takashi was tall and strong, so he shook him off and said, what I said was the truth. Everyone knows that they are a couple. Look at how intimate they are. I think that in a few days, that little brat will get Fang Shishir into his bed. Xiao Fei gasped for breath. This was the thing he did not want to see the most. But he had to admit that Takashi's words were not false. This kind of situation really could happen. No, I definitely cannot let Fang Shishir into his bed. Fang Shishir is my person. No one can touch her. Xiao Fei's possessiveness was very strong. He had already considered Fang Shishir to be his person. I must have her. His gaze gradually became resolute. In the office, Tang Zheng and Lu Qingmei sat facing each other. Lu Qingmei earnestly said, Tang Zheng, do you have confidence in this month's mock exam? I will do my best. Tang Zheng lightly said. He had already decided to hide his true strength, so this month's mock exam would not be as normal. Lu Qingmei wrinkled her eyebrows and said, Tang Zheng, you cannot be discouraged. Your family is not well off. You should study harder and be more serious in class. Only then will you be worthy of your grandfather. What do you say? Tang Zheng could clearly feel her genuine concern, but he could not reveal his own plans. He could only nod his head and say, I understand, Teacher Lu. Lu Qingmei secretly sighed. Tang Zheng clearly did not listen to her words, but she was also helpless. She said in her heart that she must find a way to make him pull himself together. The old witch Wu Cuihong was not far away, secretly sizing up Tang Zheng. Last time she was contradicted by Lu Qingmei and Tang Zheng. This time she learned her lesson and did not dare to use her age to speak nonsense. Otherwise, the one who would lose face would be her. Tang Zheng, after this month's mock exam, you will suffer. Wu Cuihong already had a detailed plan. When the time comes, she will definitely be able to force him to drop out of school. Tang Zheng left the office and his cell phone rang. Little brother, did young Master Huang find trouble with you? Lin Hu anxiously asked. These past few days he had been thinking of ways to resolve the conflict between Tang Zheng and Huang Xiang. However, Huang Xiang avoided him. Moreover, he had just received news that Huang Xiang was injured. As for what exactly happened, outsiders did not know. Brother Hu, the matter between him and me has temporarily come to an end. You do not need to worry. Ah, did something happen? Do you need my help? No need. Lin Hu hung up the phone and sank into deep suspicion. Huang Xiang still had not made a move. This was not his style. Just what happened? Moreover, how could Huang Xiang be injured? He was a 6th grade refining body martial artist. Who could injure him? Could it be Tang Zheng? See. He was shocked by his own conjecture, and his heart beat wildly. He really couldn't figure out what was going on. Tang Zheng had just walked to the entrance of Class 1 when a fragrant wind blew over. Fang Shishir was already standing in front of him. How's your leg? It's much better. Tang Zheng made a few movements. After reaching the 3rd grade refining body, the healing speed of his wounds increased by a lot. Fang Shishir was slightly relieved. She stared at him blankly and firmly said, Tomorrow is the monthly exam. You will definitely take first place again. Shishir, this time I will not take first place. I will still maintain my previous results. What? Why? Your illness has clearly been cured. You can take first place again and shut everyone else's mouth. Let them know that you are still the genius Tang Zheng. Fang Shusher anxiously said. Listen to me. In any case, I have already taken last place many times. It doesn't matter if I take the exam again. Moreover, the first place is yours and not someone else's. It can be considered as keeping the goodies within the family. Tang Zheng casually said. Fang Shusher shook her head like a rattledrum and said, No, you are already better than me. The first place is well deserved. I am willing to be second. Silly girl. Tang Zheng stroked her hair and said, You're first, and I'm the last. Our family has 2 first places. What do you mean our family? That's so embarrassing. Fang Shusher was incomparably bashful, but her heart felt sweet. Moreover, the first place and the last place are together. This will definitely make other people's eyeballs fall out. Tang Zheng mischievously said. You are so bad. You could have been first but you insisted on being last. Okay, I'll tell you. If I were to take first place, the school would definitely let me return to class 1. At that time, I would have to face the old witch. You also know that my relationship with her is like fire and water. It would not be good. Tang Zheng explained. Fang Shusher pouted. She faintly sighed and said, I also want to go to your class 7. Huh, that old witch would be angered to death. Moreover, the school would not agree. You want to anger her. Who told her to treat you badly? Fang Shusher said. Ding ling ling. The school bell rang again. The 2 reluctantly returned to their respective classrooms. After school, everyone dispersed. Tang Zheng and Fang Shusher walked out of the school. Yi Dingdang also happened to sit in Feng Ximiang's car. When Feng Ximiang saw this scene, she bitterly said, Yi Dingdang, are you stupid? You actually let that little girl from the Feng family snatch away the little handsome brother. Feng Ximiang, what nonsense are you talking about? There is really nothing between me and him. The one I like is a big hero. He is not a big hero. Yi Dingdang said in a bad mood. But when she saw Tang Zheng and Fang Shusher's intimate appearance, while Tang Zheng was much colder towards her, she felt a bit indignant. I saved him, but he was neither cold nor warm towards me. Hung, what a bad person. Damn girl, with which eye did you see that he is not a big hero? His current cultivation is already so high. His future achievements are limitless. If you don't listen to your elders, you will regret it in the future. You don't need to care about my matters. Hurry up and drive. Tang Zheng and Fang Shusher got on the bus and headed home. Fang Shusher snuggled up to him, feeling incomparably sweet. Shusher, my house is very simple. Don't dislike it. Tang Zheng said. Why would I dislike it? That is your home. Moreover, as long as your family is together, even a simple place is warm. It is also a home. After getting off the bus, the 2 walked hand in hand towards the small house. Fang Shusher's expression did not change at all. It was as if in her eyes, this simple house was no different from her family's mansion. His grandfather was not home. Tang Zheng guessed that his grandfather must have gone to the garbage dump. After his body recovered, he could not stay idle. Creak. The door opened. Although the house was small, it was tidy and orderly. Hee, did you tidy up all of this? Of course. You are really diligent. Not bad, I will praise you. Fang Shusher looked around and asked, Where is grandfather? He might have gone out. I will cook first. No rush. She grabbed him and her gaze fell on his leg. Yesterday, I said that I wanted to take a look at the injury on your leg today. I want to see it now. My injury is really fine now. No, I must take a look. Fang Shusher insisted. Her big eyes were filled with determination. It is on my thigh. It is inconvenient. Fang Shishir hesitated for a moment. Her face was red as she said, "What is inconvenient about it? Roll up your pants." Tang Zheng had no choice but to sit down and roll up his pants to his thigh. Fang Shishir's gaze was immediately attracted. Chapter 48. Tang Zheng's thigh was wrapped in gauze and there was a faint trace of blood. Fang Shishir bitterly stared at him and said, "Didn't you say that it was just a fall and it was not serious? Why is there gauze and blood?" Tang Zheng did not dare to say that it was a gunshot wound, otherwise she would be worried to death. He could only pretend to be relaxed and said, "I knocked against a rock and got a cut. It's just a little bit of blood. Hang, if I don't look you will keep hiding it from me?" Fang Shishir's eyes suddenly turned red. Her small hand gently touched the gauze and her heart palpitated as she asked, "Does it still hurt?" "It doesn't hurt anymore. The doctor said that it will be fine after 1 or 2 days of rest." "That's good." Fang Shishir patted her chest, her face was pink. "If there is anything in the future you are not allowed to hide it from me anymore, okay?" With that said, her slender jade finger brushed past Tang Zheng's thigh. Tang Zheng felt as if he had been electrocuted. His whole body trembled. Her finger seemed to have a magical power that evoked his inner thoughts. "Shishir." Tang Zheng grabbed her hand. Fang Shishir's body tensed up. She shyly lowered her head and let out an intimate sound. A man and a woman in a room. Tang Zheng's breathing involuntarily quickened. Taking advantage of the situation, Fang Shishir sat in his arms. "Scoundrel, what are you doing?" Fang Shishir coquettishly said. "You see that I am injured. Shouldn't you comfort me? Patients need comfort the most." "Who said that I want to comfort a scoundrel like you?" Fang Shishir shyly lowered her head. "AI, then if you don't comfort me, I will go find someone else." "You dare?" Fang Shishir immediately raised her head. Her eyes widened as she stared at him. "You are mine. If you dare to find someone else, hang, I." She wanted to say that she would castrate him but felt that it was too hooligan, so she changed her words and said, "I will not let you off." "Huh, with such a good girlfriend like you, why would I look for someone else?" Tang Zheng laughed heartily. "That's more like it. Seeing that you're so obedient, I'll comfort you." Fang Shishir raised her head as she spoke, and the two kissed. The two of them had already had intimate contact for the first time, so this time, they were familiar with it. Not long after, their breathing became more rapid as they hugged each other tightly. Tang Zheng's hand restlessly moved towards her chest, groping through her clothes. Fang Shishir moaned. She was shy and anxious. That was a place where she had never been touched by anyone before. Although she was shy, she was faintly happy and expectant. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps came from outside the room. Tang Zheng woke up abruptly and let go of Fang Shishir. Fang Shishir stood up and quickly tidied up her clothes. Her face was as red as a ripe apple. She glared at him as if she wanted to say something. "Little Zheng, you're back?" Tang Dahai walked in. When he saw Fang Shishir, he couldn't help but stare blankly for a moment. He quickly recognized her and said, "Classmate, you're here. Quickly sit. Little Zheng, a guest is here, but you don't know how to greet her. How can you let a guest stand? Quickly go and pour some water." Fang Shishir said with a red face, "Grandfather, you're welcome. I heard that you were discharged, so I came to see you. Your complexion is much better." "Hee, that's right. I already said that I wanted to go home. Even if I wasn't sick in the hospital, I would still get sick." Although Tang Dahai was puzzled as to how he got better in one night, he didn't think too deeply about it. As long as he could stay with his grandson for a bit longer, it would be a gift from the heavens. Seeing that grandfather is better, I'm relieved. Tang Zheng, then I'll go home first. Fang Shishir's good deed was interrupted, and her heart was like a little deer running around. She was too embarrassed to continue staying. Why don't you eat before you leave? Tang Jing walked out with water and urged her to stay. No, my family has finished cooking and is waiting for me. Grandfather, I'll come see you next time. Okay then, come play often. Little Zheng, you go send your classmate off. The two walked along the small path to the main road. Fang Shishir kept her head down, too embarrassed to look at Tang Zheng. Why do you keep looking at the ground? Could it be that there's money to be picked up? Tang Zheng teased. Fang Shishir raised her head and glared at him, saying, just now it was all your fault. I don't know if grandfather saw it. Tang Zheng laughed loudly. It's not a big deal even if it was seen. So embarrassing. If you dare to be naughty in the future, see how I punish you. How are you going to punish me? I haven't thought about it yet. In any case, you're not allowed to be naughty in the future. Okay, I'm going home. You should also go back and eat. Fang Shishir stopped a taxi, and Tang Zheng watched as the taxi disappeared into the traffic before turning around. Little Zheng, sit down. I have something to say to you. Tang Dehai sat on a chair and said seriously. Grandfather, what's the matter? That classmate just now was your girlfriend, right? Tang Zheng was dumbstruck. His grandfather's fiery eyes actually saw through him. That girl is a good girl and knows manners. Her family's situation shouldn't be bad. Since his grandfather saw through it, then there was no need to hide it. Thus he truthfully said, yes, her family does business. Tang Dehai's face darkened, and he let out a long sigh and said, Little Zheng, I also know our family's situation. Would this kind of family take a liking to our family? Tang Zheng was speechless. Fang Shishir's mother had already expressed her opposition, and her father's attitude was probably the same. This is reality. Even though you are very outstanding and will definitely have your own career in the future, but in the eyes of these rich people, you are still too weak. How much will you suffer in the future? Seeing Tang Jing not say a word, Tang Dehai said with heartache, it's all grandfather's fault for not being able to give you a good environment. Tang Jing hurriedly stopped him and said, Grandfather, don't say any more. My and Shishir's matter, we will deal with it ourselves. Her family's attitude cannot affect us. Moreover, I believe that I will definitely be able to make a career for myself. For the first time, Tang Zheng had a strong desire to stand out. In the past, he was only a simple youth who wholeheartedly studied. Now he understood that if he wanted to live a better life in this world, he needed more things and he needed to work harder. Seeing Tang Zheng insist, Tang Dehai did not try to persuade him. He understood his grandson very well and nodded, then I won't try to persuade you anymore. But right now, your most important task is to study. Everything can wait until you enter university. Moreover, if you have decided on a girl, then you must treat her well. Do you understand? Our Tang family must have a grateful heart. We cannot fail to live up to other people's good intentions. I understand, grandfather. Tang Zheng nodded heavily. Late at night. This was the moment that Tang Zheng had been waiting for. He could finally practice magic. Magic is divided into many types. It can mainly be divided into two categories, defense and offense. They complement each other and have infinite power. Tian Chanzi explained, today I will first teach you an offensive magic. This is a set of swordsmanship, but it is completely different from ordinary swordsmanship. When used with a flying sword, it can take a person's head from 1,000 miles away. But I see that in today's society, flying swords are hard to find, so it can only be used for close combat. This set of swordsmanship is called Heaven Flying Immortal. Heaven Flying Immortal? Is it the one that is shown on TV? Nonsense. Tian Chanzi reprimanded, this is my sex profound swordsmanship. It is a real magic. How can it be confused with someone's nonsense? Tang Zheng hurriedly shut his mouth. Tian Chanzi seemed to have a lot of respect for his sect, but he was also secretive and did not speak of it in detail. But since he said that Heaven Flying Immortal was so powerful, then it must not be bad. This is the heaven-flying immortal's swordsmanship and mnemonic chant. Memorize it carefully. As soon as he finished speaking, Tang Zheng's mind had an additional set of swordsmanship and mnemonic chant. This set of swordsmanship had a total of 6 moves, and each move had 36 variations. Its power was infinite. Tang Zheng only looked at it for a while and discovered the subtleties of the swordsmanship. It made him feel enlightened. This was not something that the heaven-gathering hand could compare to. First, familiarize yourself with the swordsmanship and comprehend its profound meaning. If there is anything you don't understand, I will explain it to you one by one. Tang Zheng immediately began to comprehend the swordsmanship. In a short while, he had clearly memorized the swordsmanship. Now, his memory was astonishing, almost reaching the realm of photographic memory. Moreover, his comprehension ability was also extraordinary. While he was comprehending the subtleties of the swordsmanship, he also consulted Tian Chanzi about the things he did not understand. Tian Chanzi answered him one by one. Tian Chanzi's voice was very calm, but in fact, it was not calm at all. He did not expect Tang Zheng's comprehension of the swordsmanship to be so amazing. He remembered that when the sex genius first faced the swordsmanship, his comprehension was also not as good. I really picked up a treasure. The swordsmanship has been explained to you. Next, you will practice the swordsmanship according to the swordsmanship. Tang Zheng did not practice like he practiced martial arts. Instead, he closed his eyes. With a thought, an image appeared in his mind. It was a miniature version of Tang Zheng. He was practicing the swordsmanship according to the swordsmanship. Although there was no sword in his hand, every move was exactly the same as the swordsmanship. Tang Zheng suddenly opened his eyes and took a deep breath. He found that the true qi in his meridians had been greatly consumed. His body felt like it was about to collapse. I only practiced the first move to the 15th style and I am already so tired. I don't have the strength to continue practicing. Am I too useless? Tang Zheng blamed himself. Kid, you don't know what's good for you. Do you know how much other people can practice the heaven-flying immortal for the first time? Tian Chanzi suddenly said, his voice trembling slightly. How much? Tang Zheng looked at him blankly. How would I know this? The 5th style of the first move. Ah, so little? As far as I know, the sex genius stopped at the 10th style for the first time. Kid, you have already practiced to the 15th style and you are still not satisfied. You still say that you are useless. How do you want other people to live? Tian Chanzi was flustered and exasperated. Tang Zheng scratched his head embarrassedly and said, I don't know about this. But what style did you practice to? I won't tell you. Don't tell me you don't even have the 5th style, so you are too embarrassed to say it. Who said that? I practiced to the 7th style and could be considered one of the best in the sect. Tian Chanzi hurriedly explained. However, he immediately realized that he had been tricked. He was flustered and exasperated. Kid, you are getting better and better. The 7th style, it seems that you have a lot less than me. Do you think that everyone is like you, a freak with the 9 yang saint body? Tian Chanzi unhappily said. His self-esteem had been greatly damaged. Chapter 49. Tian Chanzi said in a deep voice, there are many spells, but there are many profound spells that you have no way to practice. I suggest that you focus on 2 directions. What are those 2 directions? Formations and true fire. Formations are divided into defensive and offensive formations. The requirements for offensive formations are very high, so naturally its power is also very high. Have you heard of the phrase, drawing a prison? Of course I've heard of it. Drawing a prison is a type of offensive formation. Just casually draw a formation and it will trap the enemy in place. No matter how powerful you are, it will be difficult to escape the fate of being killed. Tang Zheng was fascinated and couldn't help but sigh, that's too powerful. Heh, That's why I say that your knowledge is still far from enough. However, don't expect to learn such an offensive formation now. Learning defensive formations is a good choice. However, the initial stages of defensive formations generally require the assistance of external objects. Generally, jade stones are required. You need to arrange the formation within the jade stones. When the enemy attacks, the defensive formation will automatically activate and achieve the effect of protection. Jade, where can I find jade? Of course you have to buy it. Tang Zheng's face immediately turned bitter. In order to save his grandfather, he had already spent all his money, so where would he find the money to buy jade? No, I must earn money to buy jade. Right, can this jade protect others? Of course it can. As long as you wear the jade will naturally protect you. Tang Zheng's heart moved. Now he had the confidence to protect himself, but many of the important people around him did not have the ability to protect themselves, such as his grandfather and Fang Shishir. Then hurry up and teach me this defensive formation. In addition, there is also the body lock technique. You said before that when I reach the 3rd grade refining chi I can learn this spell. The pressure point technique had saved Tang Jing more than once, so he had long been looking forward to learning the body lock technique. The body lock technique was more powerful than the pressure point technique. It did not require physical contact and could be completed by chanting the incantation. It was simply the best choice for protection. Alright, the body immobilization technique only has a few lines of incantations. This incantation is used to draw in the spiritual chi of heaven and earth, thus impacting the person's acupuncture points to achieve the effect of body immobilization. However, the effect varies from person to person. The smoother your communication with the spiritual chi of heaven and earth, the better the effect of the technique. Tang Jing silently memorized the incantation. The incantation was very short, consisting of only a few words. It would only take a few seconds to finish chanting. However, without a target to cast the spell on, he did not know how effective it would be. For the next 2 days, the monthly mock exam was held as scheduled. Tang Jing deliberately controlled his score so that he would continue to be in the last position. After the exam was the last day of March, and the entire grade was on holiday. Fang Shishir originally planned to stay with Tang Jing, but because of a guest at her house, she changed her plans at the last minute. Tang Zheng was at a loss as to how to make money. He could not continue to fight. Was he supposed to work? Don't be ridiculous. How much can you earn from doing odd jobs? Buying jade would cost a lot of money. The least would be tens of thousands, and the most would be hundreds of thousands. This was a huge sum of money. Tang Zheng was just an ordinary high school student. How could he earn so much money in such a short period of time? Boss, today is a rare day off. Come with me to a place. Feng Yong suddenly called. Where are we going? You'll know when we get there. I guarantee that this trip will not be in vain. Feng Yong mysteriously said. Since Tang Zheng had nothing to do, he agreed. Not long after, Feng Yong drove in front of Tang Zheng. Feng Yong, you know how to drive. Tang Zheng looked at him in surprise. Driving is not difficult. Boss, you're so smart. You'll definitely be able to learn it. Tang Zheng actually had the idea of learning how to drive. However, he had to study and cultivate at the same time. He had no time to do so. He could only wait until after the college entrance exam. Boss, the place we're going to today is quite interesting. There's a lot of fun. Feng Yong excitedly said. Oh, just what kind of place is it that makes you so excited? Hi hey, I'll keep you in suspense. You'll naturally know when we get there. The car sped all the way to the suburbs. A large building complex appeared in front of them. The greenery on both sides of the road became more and more beautiful. It was truly a place filled with green trees and surrounded by small rivers. It was completely devoid of the hustle and bustle of the city. The car stopped in front of the building complex. Feng Yong handed over an invitation card. A man wearing a black suit and headset opened the door. He looked like a bodyguard from the movies. As the car drove in, Tang Jing felt that the scenery inside was even more beautiful than outside. Hundreds of flowers bloomed. Not far away was a huge lake and a golf course. In the distance, one could even faintly see Changheng Mountain. This is our destination, Ordinary Balance Courtyard. It is said that in ancient times, it was the imperial palace. Look at those ancient buildings. Many of them are relics left behind from ancient times. Later generations built many new ones. That's why it has become like this. This is where many successful people of ordinary balance live. Feng Yong introduced. Tang Jing nodded. He did not say a word. He already knew that Feng Yong's family was not ordinary, so he was not surprised. Boss, you're really amazing. The first time I came here, it was like Granny Lu entering the Grandview Garden. But you didn't react at all. This must be what my father meant by being indifferent. My father will be here in a while. Let's play first. Boss, there's everything here. What do you want to play? I'm not familiar with it. You decide. Tang Jing lightly said. He was not completely unsurprised. Seeing such a luxurious place for the first time, no matter who it was, they would be surprised. But with the increase of Tang Jing's power, his state of mind had undergone a great change. He no longer completely showed the changes in his state of mind on his face. There's something fun here that you can't find anywhere else. Come, I'll take you there. These buildings were like ancient palaces. They were richly decorated and extremely luxurious. A moment later, the two arrived at a large hall. Casino? Tang Jing was surprised. That's why I said this place can't be found anywhere else. The Ordinary Balance Courtyard's backer is very awesome. So this casino is very safe. Many people gamble here. It's simply the Ordinary Balance's Las Vegas. You play, I'll just watch. Tang Jing only had $100 on him. He couldn't even gamble a single round. Moreover, he was not in a good position to do this. How can that be? Boss, I brought you here, so how can I let you watch? Look, this is my little treasury. There's $200,000 inside. It's all the pocket money I've saved up over the years. I've already prepared it. Today we're going to kill and win big. Feng Yong's eyes shined like a pervert seeing a naked beauty. For the first time, Tang Jing discovered that Feng Yong actually had the potential to be a gambler. But he remembered his grandfather's teachings. 10 gambles, 9 losses. He wanted to persuade Feng Yong, but he was worried about ruining his mood, so he didn't say anything. Boss, here's $200,000 worth of chips. We'll split it in half. Let's play separately for now. Later we'll see whose results are better. Feng Yong stuffed the chips he had just exchanged into Tang Jing, and then rushed to the gambling table. Tang Jing shook his head and helplessly sighed. The uncertainty of gambling was too great. He wouldn't risk Feng Yong's money. He knew that even if he lost it all, Feng Yong wouldn't let him pay it back. But he wouldn't do that. Tang Jing strolled around the casino. It was very big, and there were all kinds of gambling. There was even a separate room on the second floor. Kid, aren't you worried about money? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Tian Chanzi's voice suddenly sounded. You mean gambling? What if I lose? It's not my money, it's Feng Yong's money. With me here, you'll still lose. You're simply insulting me. Tian Chanzi said indignantly. What do you mean? You mean you have a way to win money? Of course, with me here, it'll be hard for you not to win money. Tian Chanzi boasted proudly. Tang Jing's head moved. If Tian Chanzi had a way to win money, then this was the fastest way to earn money. Okay, I'll bet. Tang Jing made up his mind. In this society, it was hard to do anything without money. Moreover, he also knew that in the future, he would need money in many ways, so he had to earn money as fast as possible. Tian Chanzi, what method do you have? I can tell you the other person's cards. Tang Zheng was very happy. No wonder Tian Chanzi was so confident. If he could see the other person's cards, then he could definitely win money. Then let's play Golden Flower. Among the gambling here, this was a game that Tang Zheng was slightly familiar with, so he went straight to the gambling table of Golden Flower. It just so happened that one person had lost too much, so he threw his cards away and stopped playing. He kept muttering, F***ck, this position is too unlucky. I've lost 500,000 yuan. I'll go change my position and play something else. Tang Zheng sat down. The others glanced at him and signaled the beautiful dealer to deal the cards. The dealer glanced at Tang Zheng and quietly dealt the cards. There were 5 people at the table, and each of them got 3 cards. The 4 people didn't look at their cards, but Tang Zheng directly picked up his cards. The other people showed a look of ridicule. They thought that another person had come to give money. Looking at Tang Zheng's unfamiliar appearance, it was obvious that he didn't gamble often. The starting bet was 1,000 yuan. The dealer started to bet, and directly put down 2,000 yuan. The second and third also put down 2,000 yuan. It was Tang Zheng's turn. Tang Zheng had already looked at his cards. If he followed, he would have to bet 4,000 yuan. Everyone looked at him. He seemed to be thinking, as if he was weighing the pros and cons. In fact, Tang Zheng was very happy. Before he looked at his cards, he had already learned his cards from Tian Chanzi. He just picked them up to verify Tian Chanzi's words. Tian Chanzi's words were true. Tian Chanzi also told him the other people's cards. This time, his luck was bad. He was the worst among all of them, so he didn't plan to gamble and directly folded. The others looked at him with ridicule. He was too timid. He was indeed a newbie. If you were always careful in gambling, you wouldn't win money. Gambling was about gambling. If you were too careful, you would lose more in the end. This game ended quickly. In the end, the fat man diagonally opposite Tang Zheng won nearly 100,000 yuan. Tang Zheng said that if he didn't have Tian Chanzi's help, he might have lost all the chips. Chapter 50. This time, Tang Zheng did not look at his cards. He followed the others and placed a $2,000 bet. The others were secretly delighted. Young people were impatient. After losing the first round, they immediately lost their cool. After the first round of bets, one person looked at his cards. Tang Zheng was still sitting calmly because he already knew all the cards. This time, his cards were the biggest, so he was not worried at all. The person who looked at his cards found that his cards were not bad. He revealed a happy expression and continued to bet. After the second round of bets, 4 people placed bets while one person placed bets. Next, 2 people looked at their cards. One of them sighed and folded his cards. It was obvious that his cards were too small. The other person did not move. It seemed that his cards were not bad. Now, there were 4 people left at the table. Tang Zheng and the fatty who had won the previous round did not look at their cards. The fatty sat calmly and seemed to be full of confidence. He was clearly an old gambler. After the third round of bets, Tang Zheng pretended to look at his cards. The fatty also looked at his cards. He did not move, making it difficult for others to see his cards clearly. However, Tang Zheng already knew his cards. The fatty had a pair of aces and a king. His cards were the biggest after Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng had a straight of 4, 5, 6, and was the biggest card on the table. One person saw that he had already placed 3 rounds of bets and directly competed with the fatty. He shook his head in annoyance as he lost. The other person stared at Tang Zheng and also sadly folded when he competed with him. In the end, only Tang Zheng and the fatty were left at the table. The fatty looked at Tang Zheng and smiled. "Young man, your luck is not bad." Tang Zheng smiled and said, "I'll count on your auspicious words." The two of them placed 2 more rounds of bets. There were already tens of thousands of dollars on the table. The fatty's expression changed slightly. He stared at Tang Zheng and said, "I don't believe that your luck is really that good. I'll open you." The result was self-evident. Tang Zheng won. The fatty looked at Tang Zheng suspiciously. This was the first time he folded without hesitation, but this time he persisted until the end and won. It was really strange. However, Tang Zheng's cards were not small, so he should have persisted. The game continued. With the help of Tian Chanzi, Tang Zheng was like a god. After a while, the chips in front of him were piled high. He had won nearly 500,000 yuan. He lost and left the table. Everyone gradually realized that Tang Zheng did not win every time. He would lose sometimes, but he always won more than he lost. As long as he persisted until the end, the winner would definitely be him. It was as if he had known the cards beforehand. But how was that possible? F***ck, I can't play this card anymore. The other 3 picked up their remaining chips and stood up. They looked at Tang Zheng as if he were a monster. The people nearby also noticed the situation here. They gathered around and discussed. Deal the cards. The fatty did not admit defeat. The fatty did not dare to be careless and directly looked at his cards. His eyes flashed with joy, but he pretended to be calm. This was because his cards were 3Ks. This was already considered a super big shot in the Golden Flower game. He was confident that he could win this game. He could not help but regret looking at his cards. If he had known that his cards were so good, he would have kept betting and won all the chips in his opponent's hand. However, if he let his opponent escape with such good cards, it would be a pity. Thus, he pushed over 500,000 yuan worth of chips in front of him and said, "I'll bet all of it. Let's compete directly. I don't believe that your luck is really that good. You've already seen your cards, but your opponent hasn't. Aren't you bullying him?" Someone spoke up. "Shut up. I'm the one betting, not you. Young man, do you have the courage to do so? If your luck is really that good, then all the chips in front of me will be yours." The fatty provoked and tempted at the same time. Tang Zheng's face was calm as he said, "Since you also say that my luck is good, then I'll take advantage of your auspicious words and gamble." Tang Zheng pushed over 500,000 yuan worth of chips in front of him, as if he really did fall for the opponent's provocation. "Boss." Suddenly, Feng Yong came in. When he saw the chips in front of Tang Zheng, his eyes widened in disbelief. "Boss, you won this much? Today's luck is good. How are your results?" I lost it all." Feng Yong hung his head dejectedly and said embarrassedly. He looked at the situation on the table and asked in surprise, "You want to bet all of your chips?" Seeing Tang Zheng nod, Feng Yong immediately advised, "Boss, it's too risky. The opponent has already seen his cards. Looking at his confident appearance, his cards must be very good. You haven't seen your cards yet, so you're at a disadvantage." "Hee, everyone says that my luck is good, so I also want to bet on my luck," Tang Zheng said indifferently. Feng Yong sighed, "Boss really is the boss. This boldness is extraordinary." Although Feng Yong's family was well off, he did not have such boldness. Seeing that Tang Zheng had made up his mind, as a younger brother he naturally could not lose face for his boss. He passionately said, "I believe in you, boss. This time we will definitely win." But in his heart he sighed. "Although this was my hard-earned savings, but I have already lost it all. If boss also loses, then it doesn't matter. Young people are really too inexperienced." The others sighed in pity. The fatty's sinister intentions were too obvious. Tang Zheng ignored the other people's gossip and directly said to the fatty, "Then you open your cards." 3 kings. The fatty threw his cards and heroically said, "Wow, he can even get this kind of card. His luck is really good. No wonder he would bet all of his chips." This time that young man will definitely lose. Feng Yong's face was very ugly. Needless to say, he would definitely lose. Boss, let's go. Feng Yong dejectedly said. We haven't opened our cards yet. How can we leave? Tang Zheng lightly said. Feng Yong dejectedly said, Boss, he has 3 kings. It's too big. We will definitely lose. That's right. Young man, let's go. Don't be so impulsive in the future. The others advised. The fatty provocatively looked at Tang Zheng. He proudly said, Don't you think that your luck is good? You want to be a deserter without opening your cards? Haha. Everyone says that my luck is good today. I also think that my luck is not bad. So the outcome is still not decided. Tang Zheng loudly said, Feng Yong, help me open my cards. Boss, it doesn't matter if we lose. Let's go. Open your cards. Feng Yong helplessly opened his card. It was an ace. The others all shook their heads. It was only an ace. In front of 3 kings, it was still insignificant. The second ace. 2 aces. His cards are not small. This young man's luck is really good. Someone exclaimed. What's the use of being good? It's only a pair of aces. We will still lose. Someone retorted. Who knows, maybe he'll get 3 aces, said someone who didn't want to give up. Huh, are you awake? How can 3 aces be so easy to get? Moreover, 3 aces against 3 kings. The probability is too small. The probability is small, but it's not impossible. Quickly open your cards. Someone urged. Feng Yong looked at Tang Zheng and said in his heart, could it really be 3 aces? He was a little excited and slowly opened the 3rd card. The 3rd ace. Wow! Someone exclaimed in amazement. It was really 3 A's. It was too unbelievable. The fatty's smile immediately froze. He was like a puppet as he stared blankly at the 3 aces. How could it be so coincidental? Feng Yong witnessed this miraculous moment and even personally participated in it. He couldn't help but excitedly jump up and laugh. Haha, 3 aces. We won. Boss won. Everyone looked at Tang Zheng with a bit of shock in their eyes. This little handsome guy's luck was truly heaven-defying. He was simply the god of gambling. Moreover, he was unfazed by anything. He simply had the style of an otherworldly expert. Impossible. That's definitely cheating. Fatty suddenly screamed like a madman. The others all revealed looks of disdain. Cheating? Please, there were so many pairs of eyes watching. Moreover, he didn't even look at his cards. How could he cheat? Moreover, who would dare to cheat in the ordinary balance courtyard? Did he not want to live anymore? Hey, Fatty, don't slander others. A loss is a loss. There are so many pairs of eyes watching. Feng Yong disdainfully said. The fatty was speechless. He also realized that the situation he spoke of was impossible. This could only be attributed to Tang Zheng's luck being too good. Or perhaps he was seeking his own death. Boss, let's not play with this kind of tasteless person. Let's go play something else. Feng Yong said. Let's not play anymore. Your father should have arrived. Let's go. Tang Zheng had already won 1 million after deducting 100,000. This was not considered much in the casino. But after causing such a ruckus, it really was too eye-catching. Moreover, this amount of money was enough for his recent expenses. So he chose to leave. Boss, your luck is so good. You should continue to kill. Feng Yong excitedly said. Tang Zheng shook his head and said, luck cannot always be good. We should quit while we are ahead. AI, that really is a pity. Feng Yong said regretfully. The two of them went to exchange for chips. Feng Yong, this is the 1 million we won. You and I will each take 500,000. Tang Jing said. When Feng Yong heard this, he hurriedly shook his head and said, How can that be? This was all won by you. How can I take your money? If I did not have your capital, even if I had good luck, I would not have been able to win this money. So half of the credit goes to you. No, this is all because of you, boss. If I were to gamble by myself, I would have already lost everything. So the most I want is 200,000. Tang Jing tried to persuade him again, but Feng Yong persisted. With no other choice, Tang Jing could only transfer the remaining 900,000 into his card. In the monitoring room, a handsome man with sharp eyebrows and bright eyes watched the replay with interest. In the end, the screen froze on Tang Jing's calm face. He could not help but mutter to himself, he is very confident. It seems that he already knew the cards. Interesting. Such an interesting little fellow appeared in the ordinary balance area. As he said this, he turned his head to look at the old man beside him. The old man was drowsy, as if he was dozing off. Qin Lao, did you see any clues about him? Qin Lao opened his eyes and glanced at the screen. He shook his head and said, he did not cheat. As for the method, my old eyes are not good enough to see it. Chapter 51. When Tang Jing saw Feng Yun, he immediately confirmed that he and Feng Yong were father and son because there were some similarities between their eyebrows. Feng Yun had the calmness and magnanimity of a middle-aged man, but he also did not have the arrogance of 1,000 miles away, making people feel very close to him. Feng Yun sized up Tang Jing while saying with a smile, Little Tang, your name is like thunder to my ears. My family's little brat talks about you every day, praising you to the point that you are like heaven and earth. Seeing you today, I can see that you are indeed a talent. This little brat finally has a good eye. Uncle Feng, you flatter me. Tang Jing lightly smiled. No, I have never seen my family's kid so convinced before. You are the first. I heard that you specially made a revision plan for him. During this period of time, he is much more diligent than before. When he came back yesterday, he told me that this month's mock exam will definitely be better than before. Feng Yong and I are friends. Helping each other is something we should do. Right. You should make more friends at your age. Let's go, the auction is about to start. Let's go in first. Tang Jing looked at Feng Yong and did not know what auction it was. Feng Yong shrugged his shoulders and said in a low voice, the auction is not interesting at all. A group of people pretending to be cultured. It is not as fun as the casino. You 7 went to the casino? Feng Yun casually asked, did you win or lose? Feng Yong beamed with joy and said, Dad, you don't know how cool boss was. He was simply the god of gambling. He easily won 1 million. Feng Yong looked at Tang Jing with astonishment and said, Little Tang is good at gambling? No, I was just lucky. I don't usually gamble. Feng Yun solemnly nodded his head and said, gambling a little is good for the mood, but gambling a lot is bad for the body. Especially you young people must remember. Tang Jing once thought of gambling to make money. He had Tian Chanzi to cheat. Not to mention millions, even millions would not be difficult. But later he rejected the idea. Gambling was not the right way to do it. Moreover, if you won so much money, wouldn't others be jealous? Although he had a lot of skills, but he would also get into trouble. The gains would not make up for the losses. Feng Yun's words hit the nail on the head, causing his favorable impression of Feng Yun to multiply. Little Yong, the auction is not completely a show of culture. This is an opportunity to train one's decisiveness and foresight. Feng Yun educated. Feng Yong curled his lips and said disapprovingly, anyway, I feel that it's very boring. However, with my boss accompanying me today, it's a little more interesting than before. Feng Yun helplessly shook his head and said, Little Tang, look at how lazy he is. I really can't help it. Uncle Feng, everyone has their own interests. Feng Yong's interests just don't lie in this. Sigh, I don't expect him to have any great achievements. As long as he doesn't squander away the family business that I worked so hard to earn, everything will be fine. Tang Zhang's heart skipped a beat. He still didn't know what Feng Yong's family did. Feng Yong was secretive about it, so he didn't ask directly. Hi hey, Feng Yun, all you do is fiddle with shameful things and you still want your son to inherit your father's business. You really are bold. Suddenly, a person said in a strange tone. Looking towards the source of the voice, Tang Zheng immediately saw a familiar face, the fatty who just lost to him. Feng Yun frowned and said, Jiang Dali, I don't need you to tell me what to do with my business. You should just mind your own business. I also don't want to tell you what to do. For a grown man to fiddle with such shameful things like sex toys, it really is shameful. Jiang Dali jokingly said. Feng Yong heard this and his face turned red. He lowered his head in embarrassment. Tang Zheng suddenly realized why Feng Yong was secretive about his family business. So his family was in the sex toy business. Suddenly, Jiang Dali saw Tang Zheng and was slightly stunned. It's you. Tang Zheng coldly said, It's me. Hang, little brat, so you and the one surnamed Feng are in cahoots. You don't learn good things at such a young age, associating with this kind of person. Jiang Dali disdainfully said. Tang Zheng did not bat an eyelid, but Feng Yong was angry and anxious. He said in a low voice, Dad, just now boss won this fatty's money. Feng Yun looked at Tang Zheng with admiration and said, Jiang Dali, so you lost to little Tang in gambling. Didn't you always brag that your card skills are unparalleled? I think this is too much of an exaggeration. This brat is just lucky. Feng Yun, it seems that you will be participating in the auction later. Be careful not to get hit. Thank you for your good intentions, but you don't need to worry. Jiang Dali glanced at Tang Zheng again, and then left in a huff. Feng Yong looked at Jiang Dali's back and said, Dad, who is this person? Too hateful. Just a clown. Come, let's go in. Tang Zheng and Feng Yong walked half a step behind Feng Yun. Feng Yong stuttered and said, Boss, if you know that my family is in this business, will you look down on me? Tang Zheng suddenly realized that it was because of this that he did not want to tell him. Tang Zheng coughed and said, Feng Yong, there is no distinction between high and low in business. No one has the right to look down on you. I will also not look down on you. Do you understand? Feng Yong seemed to understand but not fully nodded and said, Boss, I understand. Feng Yun's mouth hooked up into a faint smile as he said in his heart, Little Yong has always rejected this business. Perhaps Tang Zheng can change his mind. The auction hall was already filled with people. Tang Zheng and the others found a seat and sat down. Feng Yun introduced, Ordinary Balance Courtyard's members are antique enthusiasts. Therefore, they will regularly hold auctions. In addition, antique enthusiasts will also conduct private transactions. After the auction, there will be a trade fair where everyone will take out their treasures or exchange them with others or sell them. The antiques in the auction will not be fake because the Ordinary Balance Courtyard will appraise them in advance. But in the trade fair, it is inevitable that there will be fakes because this is a private transaction. The Ordinary Balance Courtyard will only provide the location and will not guarantee the authenticity of the antiques. Feng Yong curled his lips and said, The trade fair is purely a scam. The slightest bit of carelessness will cause an eyesore. Eyesore? Tang Zheng suspiciously said. Yes, eyesore is a jargon. It means to buy a fake. Feng Yong explained. After the auction, you can go take a look at the trade fair. If you are lucky, you can also find some treasures. Feng Yun suggested. Feng Yong's eyes lit up and said, Boss, your luck today is exploding. Who knows, maybe you can even find some treasures. Tang Zheng smiled. He did not know anything about antiques. It was also unlike gambling where he had Tian Chanzi to cheat. How could he have such good luck? When the auction started, the handsome guy from the surveillance room came out and sat in the front row of the VIP seats. There were a total of 3 VIP seats in the auction hall. Only people with special status could sit there. Even the ordinary Balance Courtyard's municipal committee secretary did not have the qualifications to sit there. Therefore, under normal circumstances, these 3 VIP seats were always empty. Everyone was trying to guess who this handsome guy was. He was unexpectedly treated as a VIP by the ordinary Balance Courtyard. But he was clearly a new face and no one had a clue. The auctioneer walked up to the front stage and gave a welcome speech. The auction began. Tang Zheng had only seen this kind of scene on TV before. He was very interested and attentively watched the auction. The bidding was very fierce and the first item was sold for a high price. These auction items are all guaranteed by the ordinary Balance Courtyard to guarantee their authenticity. Even if the price is a bit high, it will not be too eye-catching. Feng Yun carefully explained. Dad, are you going to make a move today? Feng Yun curiously asked. Feng Yun said, let's first see if there are any treasures worth bidding for. The next item's specific age cannot be verified. But it is definitely an antique. This is an ancient Taoist's alchemy furnace. The starting price is 500,000. The auctioneer loudly said as he pointed to a simple and unadorned alchemy furnace that was half the height of a person. Can't be verified? The crowd began to discuss. This argument had never been made in the ordinary Balance Courtyard. After all, the ordinary Balance Courtyard's strength was extraordinary and they had a specialized appraisal grandmaster. If the age cannot be verified, then the value of this item will be greatly reduced. Maybe it is a treasure. If someone were to buy it and take it back, they would make a huge profit. Maybe they would lose a lot of money. It's not like everyone doesn't know the ordinary Balance Courtyard's appraisal grandmaster. Since he was unable to identify the origin of this alchemy furnace, then how many other people would have the ability to do so? Yes, that's why it's best to be careful. Feng Yun shook his head. He clearly had no interest in this alchemy furnace. But when he turned his head he discovered that Tang Zheng was staring at the alchemy furnace. His eyes were burning with passion. Feng Yun also discovered his strangeness and curiously asked, Boss, why do your eyes look like you're looking at a beautiful woman? Aren't you a bit too thirsty? Tang Zheng was indeed very thirsty because Tian Chanzi was already excitedly screaming, Haha, the 9 revolving alchemy furnace. You actually encountered the 9 revolving alchemy furnace here. Little brat, you must obtain this treasure. You must obtain it. What kind of treasure is this 9 revolving alchemy furnace? The 9 revolving alchemy furnace is an earth-level treasure. It is a high-quality alchemy furnace. But I don't know why such a treasure would appear here. Heaven Monk was extremely puzzled, but it was immediately replaced by joy as he continued to speak. Let me tell you, magic treasures are divided into 4 levels: heaven, earth, profound, and yellow. Heaven-level magic treasures can be encountered but not sought after, so earth-level magic treasures are extremely precious. In the past, many people died trying to snatch the 9 revolving alchemy furnace. I never thought that it would be so easy for you, little brat. Hey, even I am a bit envious of your luck. Tang Zheng's head moved. He had already seen the wonders of alchemy, so he attached great importance to alchemy. It was just that he had never encountered a suitable alchemy furnace. Now that he encountered such a treasure, he would definitely not let it go. Boss, you wouldn't want to buy this dark and swarthy alchemy furnace, right? Feng Yun asked in surprise. Feng Yun saw this and hurriedly advised, Little Tang, this thing is too mysterious and the uncertainty is too great. It is very likely that you will suffer a loss. You should be careful. Tang Zheng said, Careful my ass. This kind of treasure can only be encountered but not sought. I must obtain it. Chapter 52. The bidding for the 9 revolving pill furnace began with a starting bid of 500,000. Someone bid 600,000 and soon another bid 650,000. After that, no one else raised their paddle. It was clear that everyone had the same concerns as Feng Yun. The auctioneer was a bit embarrassed as this was completely different from the previous intense atmosphere. 650,000 going once, are there any higher bids? No one answered. 650,000 going twice. When Tang Jing saw this, he was secretly delighted. These people did not know what was good for them, so he had profited. 660,000. Tang Jing raised his paddle. The auctioneer raised his eyebrows and said, 660,000, is there still a bid? Tang Jing was nervous to death as he silently prayed that no one else would bid. The handsome guy in the VIP section turned his head to look at Tang Jing, his eyes slightly fluctuating. 660,000 going once, 660,000 going twice, 660,000 going thrice, sold. The auctioneer made the final call and the 9 revolving pill furnace belonged to Tang Jing. Tang Jing let out a sigh of relief as the feeling of picking up a bargain was truly wonderful. Feng Yun secretly sighed as Tang Jing was still too young and impulsive. Feng Yun suspiciously looked at Tang Jing and asked, "Boss, is there something special about this furnace?" Sigh. After interacting with Tang Jing for a while, Feng Yun knew that Tang Jing would not speak without thinking. Seeing him attach so much importance to this furnace, he began to have doubts in his heart. This furnace is useless to others, but it is very useful to me. Tang Jing said with satisfaction. "Boss, you're not a Taoist, could it be that you still want to refine pills?" Feng Yun had a suspicious look on his face. Tang Jing faintly smiled and declined to comment. When the auction ended, Feng Yun did not make a move as if there was nothing that interested him. He was rather regretful and unwillingly said, "Let's go take a look at the trade fair and see if there are any treasures worth buying." The trade fair was in a small hall with many stalls. It was a bit like an antique street, but a bit more advanced. "You two go play by yourselves, remember not to run around," Feng Yun excitedly said and then went to Taobao. "Boss, there are too many fakes here. You have to be careful." Tang Jing smiled and said, "I'm not a rich man like you. Why would I act recklessly?" "Boss, I'm actually a poor man. My dad is rich, but that doesn't mean I'm rich. Moreover, you were much more generous than me just now. 660,000. I've never bought anything that expensive before. Let's go, let's take a look around." "Oh right, is there anyone selling jade here?" "Yes, but they are all ready-made polished jade wares. There are no raw stones or the like. I want the finished product." Since he had cultivated a defensive array formation, Tang Jing naturally wanted to carve the array formation into a jade stone and give it to someone important to him. "Little brother, you want to buy a jade artifact?" Suddenly, a person stood beside the two of them and asked with interest. Tang Jing was slightly stunned and looked at the person in surprise. This person was actually the handsome guy who was sitting in the VIP seat earlier. "Yes," Tang Jing said. "Regarding jade artifacts, I only know a little. I can give you a little reference," the handsome guy said with a smile. "If that's the case, then many thanks," Tang Jing lightly said. The smile in the handsome guy's eyes became wider and said, "I still haven't asked how I should address you." "My name is Tang Jing." "Good name." The handsome guy praised, "I'm Song Yu." "Oh, it seems you have a lot of affinity with jade," Tang Jing said. "My mother is obsessed with jade, so she gave me this name," Song Yu explained. Tang Jing nodded. Like his name, he really was like a piece of warm jade, sparkling and translucent. "This is my good brother Feng Yong." "Hello." Song Yu nodded reservedly. Obviously, he didn't have much interest in Feng Yong. The several people arrived in front of a jade artifact stall. The boss hurriedly greeted them and warmly asked, "What would you like to buy?" "A few simple jade ornaments. Here are jade buckles, jade guanyin, jade Buddha, jade bracelets, etc." "What do you need?" "Men wear guanyin and women wear Buddha." I can buy a jade guanine for grandfather and a jade Buddha for Shirshir. Oh right, I can also buy a jade Buddha for Yi Ding Dang. After all, she is still being secretly coveted. Tang Zheng had an idea. He went straight to the point and said, "Boss, pick a jade guanine and 2 jade Buddhas for me. In addition, Feng Yong, what do you like?" "I'll give you one." "Ah, give it to me?" Feng Yong was surprised. He didn't think that he would also have a share. Seeing that Tang Jing didn't seem to be joking, he quickly said, "I'll buy it myself." He knew that Tang Jing wasn't well off. Although he won 900,000 today, he spent it quickly. "I said I'll give it to you. Don't be long-winded." "Okay, I want a jade buckle." "Mr. Song, then I'll have to trouble you to help me check." Tang Jing didn't know anything about jade, so he could only ask Song Yu for help. Song Yu faintly smiled and directly picked the corresponding jade from the counter. The boss's eyes lit up as he said, "Mr. really is an expert." "Boss, how much is the total here?" Tang Jing asked. "The total is 4,600,000. I'll give a discount so it's 4,500,000. "What, 4,500,000? Tang Zheng was dumbstruck. This was too expensive. Song Yu's eyes flashed with a strange light. 4,500,000 in his eyes was just a small amount of money. He didn't think that Tang Zheng would have such a big reaction. When he saw him by the pill furnace without even blinking, Song Yu thought that he was a young master from some family. It seems like he guessed wrong. "Mister, this price is absolutely fair. This mister is an expert, so he should know that we didn't give a false price." The boss pointed at Song Yu and said. Song Yu nodded his head, acknowledging the boss's words. Tang Zheng's face revealed a difficult expression as he said, "I only have 240,000. It's not even enough. Let's buy a few cheap ones." The boss's smile didn't fade as he said, "We also have cheap ones. 240,000 is enough to buy 4 pieces of jade." Song Yu didn't bat an eyelid as he picked out 4 pieces of cheap jade for Tang Zheng. After Tang Zheng paid for them, the money he won today was completely used up. He once again became poor. "Feng Yong, leave your safety buckle with me for now. I'll give it to you 2 days later," Tang Zheng said. "No problem. Boss, you can leave it for as long as you want." Song Yu was stunned as he looked at Tang Zheng. In his heart, he was wondering why he didn't just give it to him. Why did he have to bring it back? But he didn't ask. After all, both sides weren't too familiar with each other. "Mr. Song, thank you for picking out the jade for me. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first." Song Yu discovered many unusual things about Tang Zheng and said, "Why don't we eat together?" "No need. If fate wills it, we'll meet again." Tang Zheng indifferently looked at the distant Qin Lao. His eyes shrunk as he left with Feng Yong. Qin Lao stood in front of Song Yu and asked, "Young master, did you see anything? He's a bit special. But as for what it is, I can't say." Song Yu suspiciously said. "This youngster is very interesting. Young master, you definitely won't be able to guess where he came from." "Oh, which family's young master is he?" Song Yu curiously asked. Qin Lao smiled as he shook his head and said, "No, he's just an ordinary person. He's not from any family. Today he was brought in by the little brat beside him." "Ordinary person?" Song Yu was shocked. From Tang Zheng's temperament and style, he didn't seem to be from an ordinary family. Qin Lao saw the doubt in Song Yu's heart and said, "He's indeed a bit strange. But no matter how strange he is, he's just an ordinary person. He's not a martial artist. Why does young master value him so much?" Song Yu muttered, "There must be a demon behind this abnormality. Moreover, I have a strong premonition that he and I will definitely meet again." Qin Lao shook his head and smiled bitterly. Young master was young and impetuous. Sometimes his thoughts were too unconstrained. He came to the ordinary balance for important matters. How could he have any interactions with Tang Zheng? On the way back, Tang Zheng kept recalling Qin Lao's appearance. Others didn't notice Qin Lao's peculiarity, but Tian Chanzi saw it clearly. Qin Lao was actually a 5th-grade post-celestial stage expert. Uncle Feng, do you know who Song Yu is sitting in the VIP seats today? Tang Zheng curiously asked. Feng Yun was stunned and said, he's called Song Yu. Feng Yong hurriedly said, yes, he said it himself. Feng Yun pondered for a moment and said, the owner of the Ordinary Balance Courtyard is also surnamed Song. Could it be that this Song Yu is a member of the Song family? Is the Song family very powerful? Tang Zheng asked. Feng Yun nodded and solemnly said, the Song family can't simply be described as powerful. This family not only has an extraordinary image in the business world, but also in the political and military world. It's like a super aircraft carrier. So powerful. Tang Zheng couldn't help but be speechless. Feng Yong also opened his eyes wide and exclaimed, no wonder the Ordinary Balance Courtyard is still standing. So the boss is so powerful. Boss, just now Song Yu wanted to treat you to a meal. Why did you refuse? Tang Zheng lightly said, I'm not familiar with him. Feng Yun looked at Tang Zheng in shock. He actually made Song Yu take the initiative to invite him. This honor was really amazing. Feng Yun couldn't help but secretly sigh and thought, this Tang Zheng is definitely not a fish in a pond. In the future he will definitely soar to the sky. Little Yong being on good terms with him may be a great opportunity for the Feng family. At this moment, Feng Yun's impression of Tang Zheng underwent a huge change. The Song family's roots are in Beijing. The Ordinary Balance Courtyard is only an insignificant property of the Song family. However, the Song family rarely comes to the Ordinary Balance. Why did this Song Yu come to the Ordinary Balance? Feng Yun doubtfully muttered to himself. Dad, why do you care about this? No matter how powerful the Song family is, it has nothing to do with us. Feng Yong said. Feng Yun shook his head and didn't say anything. How could Feng Yong understand his good intentions? If he could form a connection with the Song family, then his company would experience a qualitative leap. Little Tang, since Song Yu doesn't have any ill intentions, if there is a chance, you can try to get in touch with her. Feng Yun said. If Tang Zheng was able to obtain the appreciation of the Song family, then for Tang Zheng it would definitely be a great thing. Tang Zheng declined to comment. Right now he and Song Yu were people from two different worlds. There was no need to think too much about the relationship between the two. His top priority was to engrave the formation into the jade artifact he bought. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.